R2V2 is back for 2 huge days. Saturday and Sunday, October 12th and 13th at Cliff Breakers on West Riverside. Featuring retro games in a playable arcade and museum, esports tournaments, vendors with your favorite gaming merch, and so much more. Plus, your ticket gets you into the after party with live bands playing classic video game tunes. Only at the Rock River Valley Video Game Convention. So come on out, you freaking nerds. Let's make this happen. October 12th and 13th. Get tickets and more info at thegamingoutsider.com/R2V2 and thexrockford.com.
Happy September, Go community. On this week's episode of The Gaming Outsider, we're answering questions from the community. As usual, most of them are video game related. There's a whole lot of bad news this week, but on the bright side, we had some new trailers drop as well. You'll also hear my and CB's impressions of Star Wars Outlaws, and I got to play the newest Pinball FX tables based on The Princess Bride and Goat Simulator. Mark also stops by to tell us about 2 games called Riddle Tower and Planes Control. This is The Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community, which can be found at thegamingoutsider.com or our community on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/the GoCast, and even our Discord server. There's a link in the show notes. We would love it if you came and joined the conversation. It is Tuesday, September 3rd. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my good friends. First off, Mr. Zack Barkerson. What's up, sir?
Just here chatting with my fellow free gunners.
Free gunners?
Oh, yeah. This would have landed better if you knew that the characters in Concord were called free gunners.
Oh, I did not know that.
And RIP. Pour one out.
We'll get to that for sure. Also joining us, Mr. Chris Behrensmeyer. What's up, man?
I am still here.
Yes, you are. 2 weeks in a row.
That's right. We can't get rid of him now.
Yeah. I like your Barbie/Ripley shirt that nobody can see because they're listening to audio, but that's pretty awesome. Got to tell you guys, actually, we haven't told Zack about this, CB. So
is this how I get fired?
No.
Yeah. No, we've been saying it for weeks. R2V2, October 12th, 13th. Please purchase your tickets in advance, save some money. I'm looking really forward to this. But one of the showcases of R2V2 is this 3-on-3 VR laser tag game that is developed by a developer named Toasted Waffle. He's actually one of our listeners. His name is Alan Sheck, and we coordinated with him this past weekend. He wanted to do a test run on it. So he brought 8 headsets to Rockford, stayed in the hotel at Cliff Breakers. We met him on Sunday morning? Saturday morning. Man, we met him there on Saturday morning. Me, CB, Jake, Mindy, Jake's 2 kids, CB's kid. I think that was it, right?
Yes.
And we got to test this out. Now, thought this was going to be kind of cool, but I'm no offense to Alan, okay? But I think I told him this. I did not expect this thing to be as cool as it is. This thing is rad. The trailer, if you watch any gameplay footage of this, and again, not knocking his editing skills of what he put together, does not do it justice until you actually get in a headset and see what this does. So, if you're not familiar with it, the game is called, oh my gosh.
Catastrophic Inversion.
Thank you. Catastrophic Inversion. So we have a 4,000-foot square room in the basement of the Cliff Breakers that we're using, and you are physically in that space. There's nothing in the room, and he's got it all set up so that the boundaries are on the entire outside border of this room. And then he split us up into 2 teams of 3. Each of us got a headset, and as soon as you put the headset on, you have to calibrate the headset by touching one of the controllers to this thing he's got on the wall, and then touch it to the second one on the wall, and that's it. And then all of a sudden, you're looking through the headset and you're actually seeing the real world, right? But it's like black and white. I don't know if you've ever used a Quest, Zach. Have you, or do they do that in PlayStation VR as well?
No, this is not so familiar now.
Okay, so when you're looking in the lens of the goggles, you're actually seeing an image projected from the camera on the outside of it. So you're seeing the real world through the headset. And as soon as it got us logged in, all of a sudden on the wall above us, like up, is a scoreboard, like just floating in the sky, which is rad. And that's actually how you log in, as you click on that and check in or whatever. And then once a game begins, it puts these 3 colored cylinders on there, and that's where your starting point is. So one of you goes to one spot, one goes to one spot, one goes to the other. And then the world fades away, and now you're in this virtual reality map, basically. Very almost Tron-like. Is that fair to say, CB?
Yes.
And the map that he had us play on is basically one side of the map, another side of the map, and in between are 4 carousels that kind of like carry you across the map. You have to hit a button physically with your hand, and it carries you across this carousel kind of thing. And 3-on-3 laser tag. You're shooting each other, but I didn't know this. It's capture the flag. So you have to go into the other team's base, get their flag, and bring it back to your base in order to score a point. Not only that, but each team has a turret that they can man by holding both of the joysticks. You stand behind it, and you actually tilt the turret, in what direction you want to shoot it, and you can shoot the oncoming people as they come. Here's the crazy part. And again, I'm not a programmer, so I have no idea how to make this game at all. But the fact that he pulled this off, it just seems like a miracle to me. In the game has verticality. So when you're going in to get your opponent's flag, you go into an elevator, it goes up the elevator, and you come out, and you're now upstairs where the flag is, and then that's also where the turret is. So when you're watching people run around shooting each other in the real world, because there's verticality, you're not physically going up in the real world, right?
Well, yes.
So when you're shooting at somebody, you're not even aiming at them. You're aiming at their avatar in the game.
Oh, so they could be below you. So you just looks like you're shooting at the ground or something?
Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy that he's got that all rigged to work that way. It is so much fun. I only played it the one time. I let Mindy take my headset so she could try it on the second turn. I got this great picture of Mindy like in this really cool looking like crouched position, like she's a Call of Duty Black Ops or something like that. And CB's on the floor on his knees, like looking up. It looks like he's looking up at the sky with this dumbfounded mouth open look on his face. He was actually hiding behind a barrier that you obviously can't see. It is so much fun, guys. It is an absolute blast.
Yeah. Why don't you tell the people who beat you both games?
Oh yeah, because our turret didn't work. Yeah, that's balanced.
The second game,
I didn't play the second game.
I smoked him both games.
Yeah,
he just said he only played one.
He did, but his team, he was on that side.
Oh, okay.
So if I get traded to another team, then I'm still on that team?
Yeah, that's how it works.
But it was really cool talking with Alan. First off, he and his wife, Emily, are two of the
Awesome
sweetest people ever. They're just seriously, and they wanted feedback, and I felt bad because we're saying, well, maybe you could do this, maybe you could do this, and I felt like we were being critical, but he was like, no, I really want this, because he was going to make changes and have a final product for R2V2. But
found a few bugs for him.
Yeah. It is so much fun. I feel like this is going to be a massive hit at R2V2.
By the way, did I tell you what he did for me?
No? Oh, you put it on your quest?
Not only that, but I'm officially a tester.
Nice.
So
cool.
I have the other modes that you could do with that now.
Okay, yeah, because they're like frag modes and things like that.
Dude,
but,
I'm actually taking my headset with me to work tomorrow because we have a gym that I'm gonna load up. And he showed me how like the maps are made and everything, so I can map out a play space.
Yeah, he's actually making a mode where you can make your own map as well, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, he showed me how it works.
Like a little like Halo Forge kind of thing.
Yeah, dude, it's. I'm not gonna lie. I'm Alan. Dude, I'm still blown away at what you've been able to put together. I think it's a phenomenal piece. So
it really is. And the crazy thing is you know in your brain that you're on a level ground, like in the real world, right? But when I got on a elevator, or not an elevator, like one of those carousels that moves you across, or there's places where you can like step down into your doom, like Richie's Plank experience, I got like freaked out, like vertigo or whatever.
Yeah.
By the way, I was there for almost another hour after you left.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
It's seriously impressive. Like it's not even to market yet. He's planning on selling this game. His wife told him that this game will be available for sale by the time R2V2, so you could actually buy it. The catch being how many people have 6 headsets, or how many people have 5 friends with headsets.
Well, and all the space you need too, right?
Right. Yeah.
You don't need as much space as you think. The game actually does do a lot of like spatial awareness and develop the way the map develops. Like the way he was telling me, like it takes what you are in and actually builds the maps,
scales it.
But builds the maps like the obstacles to force you to play within that area.
Oh, that's so freaking cool. That's just
it happened twice where I may have body checked the hell out of somebody.
Well, the one time Mindy was trying to film, and you can't see non-player characters.
Well, yeah.
You can see obviously where other people's avatars are, but when you die, when you get killed, it goes into like
spirit world,
the gulag or whatever, and you have to walk back to the starting point to be able to do that. And you can see like other cones that represent where other players are standing, so you don't like on your way back run into somebody, which is kind of cool. So seriously,
so it was Mindy's fault she got hit.
Oh yeah, she watched the play area.
Yeah. Well, I also didn't realize how much CB was booking it until I was actually watching the second match. Like he is like full on sprinting across this room, and it was kind of hilarious.
Hey man, but if I'm playing a game, I'm in it to win it.
Yeah. So please come out to R2V2 and check this out. Obviously self-serving because I want you there to see everything else we put together. But if nothing else, come see this game. It is so much fun. I wanted to keep playing it, so I think people will have a genuine blast playing this. But all right, let's go ahead and jump into the games we've been catching up on. Zach, what you been playing, man?
I beat Darksiders 2.
Oh, nice.
On the replay. Once you push past the Kingdom of the Dead, the second area where the pacing, hits a brick wall, it really comes together.
Oh yeah,
pulls it in at the end, which is explains the fond memories of it. And then so I beat that. I really love the ending of this game. It's quite good. Not as good as the first Darksiders, obviously, which is next level.
Yeah.
But it is still a really great ending. But then for the first time ever, I played the DLCs, which I've never played before because I just assumed there wasn't a lot of story. And they're actually, I was informed by people in the Darksiders subreddit that they actually do have little narrative hooks, and they do. It's really, really clever. There's the third DLC, the Demon Lord Belial, has to do with the potential of finding a living human, which Darksiders is all about the apocalypse having gotten kicked off early. So there shouldn't be any. So that was kind of a neat little hook there. Mm-hmm. But all 3 of the DLCs are short. They're basically like 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh, sweet.
And they're all just like one dungeon. And they're much more Darksiders 1 or Zelda focus on puzzles. Which base Darksiders 2 doesn't really have. The puzzles are kind of simple because they want to keep you in that loot action, loop.
Yeah.
So that was really cool again, having to exercise the old brain muscles again. In significant ways, and each of the DLCs will they like give you the items you need for the dungeon, regardless of where you are in the game. And it was just, I was surprised by how good they all were, and it was really great. And it reminded me of that era of the 360 PS3 DLCs where they would just kind of be these like little short stories, or or see something from somebody else's perspective or whatever. And I was like, man,
I'd happily pay $5 for that kind of content.
Yeah,
DLCs
really.
Now.
I miss that style of DLC because now we're like kind of back to PC expansion pack style.
Yeah, you gotta or where you gotta just pre-order the deluxe edition, which promises you the DLC down the road.
Right. And then the DLC is inevitably delayed or whatever. And just it was nice back in this day where it felt like all the DLC came out in a relatively quick time frame. But anyway, Darksiders 2. Love it. This is probably the most I've ever liked it playing it, so this is good.
Very cool.
It's nice. It's nice when something's better than you remember it. Even.
And I am after R2V2. I'm gonna play Darksiders 1. That's gonna be.
That's a game you'll love, man.
I know.
I know. It's just it's Zelda with blood and swearing.
I know. I just have such gamer lack of direction when it comes to game. I just want to go for whatever's new and shiny, or somebody mentions a game like that and I just want to go try it and I play it for a little while and then forget about it. I got a stack of games. I keep buying them when they're on sale. Like I got the Vanquish and Bayonetta collection on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
It was like on sale for like $10, and I was like, yeah, I'll play that someday. You know,
Dude, Vanquish is pretty good.
I know I didn't buy it for Bayonetta. Bayonetta never clicked with me, but Vanquish is one of the. It's like a huge blind spot in my life. So
I certainly like Bayonetta, but Vanquish, that's something special.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that, and I actually was reminded of it. I was hearing about a game, and forgive me for not remembering the name of it, that somebody played at PAX West. That someone made a comment like, "Oh, this reminds me, of that game, in Vanquish," and the developer was like, "Yeah, you get it." That was
that's what they were going for. I mean,
Yeah.
Vanquish has a button dedicated to just smoking a cigarette in the middle of a firefight, and big props to any game that's doing that.
Yeah.
You just a look cool real quick button.
Couldn't get away with that now, probably.
No.
What about you, CB?
Well, thanks to Alan, I finally got to play a MetaQuest 3. Try it out.
Oh, notice he said played, didn't buy.
Not yet, but there
Growth mindset.
there may or may not be a purchase coming soon.
Yeah,
Dude, that thing is wild.
really? Why?
All right, so you've played on my Quest 2.
Yep.
And like the pass through, it's like, oh look, everything's black and white and super fuzzy.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Just looks like video now.
Yeah, it looks straight through.
Now, is there like any
it's a mix
AR
of
type?
Dude, the first game you had me play was all AR. It's wild. Absolutely, like this is what we've been wanting, and it finally like this is the first time that like I've put on a headset and I felt like, okay, this is the true blend of VR and AR, because it's a game where you're shooting like these little like essentially tribbles.
Okay.
But like, so you map out the space that you're playing in to the walls, and all of a sudden the walls start knocking. And then all of a sudden holes start breaking in the walls and these things start coming through. But as the sections of the wall are falling out, like you can see out into like space.
Oh, that's cool.
Dude, it is absolutely brain breaking. Because you're like, I know I'm inside this room. I can see the walls clearly through the pass through.
Uh-huh.
But now there's holes, like chunks of the wall are missing, and I can see Saturn out there.
So it's not only messing with the in-game world, it's messing with reality.
Yeah.
And breaking your brain and making you think things that are there that actually aren't.
Yeah. It really makes me just want to like sell my Quest 2 right now and just go out and buy a Quest 3.
Surprised you haven't already.
I haven't had
surprised you've had the restraint.
I have well, the Best Buy near me doesn't have any in stock at the moment, so
the fact that you know that though,
it sits better on your head too.
Yeah,
like it doesn't cause any neck strain because like the Quest 2, it's chunky, it sits out forward, and where the strap sits, like it pulls your head forward. This one, like it bounced more up on the top of your head. It feels better. The controllers are smaller. I'm just blown away. Like the jump from the 1 to the 2 didn't seem like that big. It felt more like a processing power thing. Like, oh, it's a little bit faster. It runs a little bit smoother. The 2 to the 3 feels like jumping from the N64 to the GameCube.
Wow.
Okay.
Like it's a major jump forward, and it really feels like VR like is moving in the proper direction.
I hope it's not too late.
The Quest is still moving, man. It's growing. Like that marketplace is thriving and surviving. Like
now, can you play Half-Life Alyx on the 3?
I can play it on the 2.
You can play it on the 2. Okay. Why have we not done that yet?
Because somebody doesn't come over my house to play games anymore.
Well, all right.
But I need to buy the 3 for a different reason because the Alien game is coming out in a couple months.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
But
Clock's
Do you
ticking.
want,
it really
it's not
is.
hard to sell CB on buying new hardware
Just
anyway,
put
but you put an Alien
game
game
on there. It's just like,
on
yes,
it.
immediate. But yeah, it is absolutely like one of the best pieces of technology I've touched in a long time.
Wow.
And like I love VR. I love VR a lot. Like I have supported VR. The only one I haven't supported was the PSVR 2, just because it didn't.
Well, nobody did.
Yeah, nobody did.
Not even Sony.
But
Yeah.
like this one, like I'm just still blown away at like how good it looks and how clean it plays. It just responded so much better. Like you know when you turn the 2 and it's just like, okay, set the floor height
Mm-hmm.
and everything. This one, like you just touch the controller to the floor.
Wow.
Like you just touch it to the floor and like setting up the player, you like walk around the room and it's actually scanning the room.
Like while you're moving around.
Yeah. Like the
That's
AR
crazy.
game that I was playing, like it was scanning like the chandelier. So when I'm playing, it recognizes that there's like something hanging from the ceiling there, or like those tables that were against the wall. It mapped those in as well.
Crazy.
The technology is moving insanely fast now for VR, and I am looking forward. Like I really think that if there isn't some tie-in with VR like this in the next like generation of consoles, whatever that is, they are missing out on an opportunity, especially with the way this AR functions.
Now, is there a way to play a game on the Quest 3? Maybe there is on the 2, where actually you could on the 1 as well, but you had to like we had to use it through Facebook for some reason.
You had to like sideload it and everything. Yeah.
Can you like play it and then someone else can see what you're seeing through the goggles on a monitor?
Yeah, you can do that now with the 2.
Because if we're gonna get together and play through Half-Life Alyx, like trading headset every once in a while per level or something, I want to be able to see what you're seeing.
Yeah. I mean, you have
it.
to do it through the Meta Horizon app and just cast it to a TV.
Okay. I think once when and if you get, it's not even an if. When you get the MetaQuest 3, we should like plan a weekend and just blast through that game.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but amazing things about it, and I really want to play it.
Well, I mean, that would mean you would have to play like Half-Life and Half-Life 2.
No, it's in it like a prequel or like
You won't enjoy it as much.
It's not. It's about the mechanics. I hear what they do with VR in that is very insane. So I want to know what it's all about. I did get back to Baldur's Gate 3 this week.
Finally?
Would you guys like to? Yes. Would you like to hear my tales?
Sure.
Of course.
All right. Baldur's Gate 3. So when we left off last
Spoilers
time,
ahead.
Oh yeah. I guess I should preface that if you do not want to hear any details about story details, you should fast forward. I don't know, about 3, 4, 5 minutes, something like that.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there's a timestamp for the news.
Oh yeah, that or just keep skipping forward till you don't hear the ominous Baldur's Gate music that Kevin likes to put behind it. So.
Yeah.
All right, so when we left off, we were fighting the final boss of Act 2, and this boss is basically a disciple of the final boss of the game. He was like given power, by the final boss of the game. So you're slowly learning who the big bad is at this point. CB, now you've beat the game. Did you realize who was voicing that final boss of Act 2?
No.
Can I tell you, Zach, or do you care?
I don't.
I don't remember if I told you last time, but I'm like, man, that voice sounds familiar, and sure enough, it was J.K. Simmons.
Oh yeah, you did tell me this. Yeah.
Yeah. So we defeated him. It started out to be a rough fight. I think I told you we were like on
Is
a
this
donut.
the one in the sewers? Oh wait, no, it's the donut like in the underground.
Yeah, like if you're on the donut and he's in the middle of the donut, and you can't heal if you're on the platform next to him. But thanks to Karlak, I was able to kick butt and take some names.
What flavor donut is it?
It's just a donut-shaped rock, man.
I know.
But it would be pink frosty if it were.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for understanding.
Glazed pink frosty
Yeah.
because they taste better. So started Act 3, and I've been told I don't know from experience that Act 3 is the longest of the 3.
Yes.
And, all roads keep leading to Baldur's Gate. Now, I haven't played Baldur's Gate 1 and Baldur's Gate 2. Apparently, in those games, that's like the last area that you go to, right?
Yes.
So I'm all excited, like, well, we're going to see Baldur's Gate, the city, and I can complete these quests that have been on my quest log for months and months and months, because you have to go to Baldur's Gate to do them. And we're in this town. I'm like, finally, we're in Baldur's Gate. Turns out we are not in Baldur's Gate. We are on a city on the way to Baldur's Gate. So it was a little anticlimactic for me. I thought it's, basically the bird for Baldur's Gate. But we're doing some side quests around town on the way, and I got to go into a circus. And it was really funny because these two characters who have to let you into the circus, the one character smells you. He comes up and, like, I have to smell you to see if you've, if you're worthy or if you're up to no good. So this character sniffs you and says, "Oh, he's murdered people, so he might be a problem." And I think I rogued my way through the conversation and got passage. Did you? Yeah. So we go in there, and it's like a medieval circus, like a Ren fair almost. There's all this stuff going around, and I come across this character that looks like a shop, and he's got one of those giant spinny wheels, like the little thing at the top.
How much did you lose?
About 1,000. So it was a genie that was letting you play this, spin the wheel, and I did it twice and would always miss it by 1 or 2. So Paul Hine, who's playing with us, he says, "Let me give it a try," and he plays it, and he realizes he sees the genie like do the little thing that dealers do at the casinos, where they kind of uses magic to like manipulate it to make it not stop on the thing that will win you the prize.
Of course.
And he calls him out on it, and the genie gets mad and turns him into a wheel of cheese. So Paul is literally rolling around this Ren Fair circus kind of thing as a wheel of cheese, and it was just the funniest thing to us.
Did you try to eat him?
No, actually, I didn't try to eat him.
Should have tried.
Should have tried, but it was something like 15 turns, and he turned back, and it was no harm, no foul. But and we went deeper into there, and came across this Ronald McDonald-looking clown, or jester-type character, and he's up on a stage, and he picks a fight with me, or with our party, and so we had to fight him, and there were these monsters that were locked in cages, and we were just like, we know those things are going to get unlocked or something like that. So they did. Had to fight these monsters. I think it's Paul actually learned a spell where he was able to mind control the monsters to attack the other enemies instead, which was super helpful.
You sick the dogs on Ronald McDonald?
Pretty much. Got the clown's health down a good amount, and he turned into some kind of apparition. So it turns out he's not the actual clown, and after we defeated him, we're now on a mission to find the actual clown. This sounds like a super serious game, I know, but
Parts and all.
Yeah. So that was the pretty much what we did playing Baldur's Gate. A good 5 hours or so. Then outside of that boss in the pretty cool scene that takes place afterwards, it was just kind of milling around, doing a lot of selling and checking stuff out, but. And even though nothing like super grand happened, the wheel of cheese thing was hilarious, it's just still so much fun to go back to every week. Absolutely loving it. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I'm done. Am I gonna play again as a different character?
You gotta re-roll, right?
Yep, re-roll.
Re-roll?
Oh, re-roll. Go. That fight, I fireballed every.
Oh, did you?
Dogs, fireball. Clown, fireball. Fireball. Yeah. Oops. Sorry, crowd. You were collateral damage to my problems.
The thing that sucks about being around town is like I'm not good at paying attention to you're just used to going around and picking up anything and taking it, but here they like highlight it in red if you're stealing it. So there's a couple times where I've just like out of habit gone and picked stuff up, and then the crowd notices and nothing bad really happens, but they kind of give you a dirty look, and the voiceover says something to the effect of, they notice you and you shouldn't do that again, kind of thing. So I gotta be careful not to do that. But also, go ahead.
I was gonna say they really make you earn Baldur's Gate in Baldur's Gate 3, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing it 70 hours now, and I still have not reached Baldur's Gate. Also, pretty big spoiler in terms of what happens in the game. So again, if you're still listening, fast forward ahead. The main crux of the story is that you've got this illithid parasite in your brain. All the characters in your party do, and you start the game by trying to get rid of this thing. And I keep collecting more of them, these illithid worms. And I came across a quest where they finally gave me... I could have done it beforehand, but I didn't do it until then because I was worried what was going to happen. But you can actually start taking on these illithid worms, put more of them into your head.
Oh.
To give you, like, these extra abilities. It's almost like a skill tree, but not... it's not super complicated. It's just like a brain. And you put the worms in the different ones that open up different abilities and stuff. So I finally did that. And it has a permanent effect on my character's look. So my character now is like, his eyes are all dark black, and his face is just covered in blood, and it looks like he's been bleeding black blood from his eyes down the side of his face.
Oh.
He looks kind of badass.
I'm curious what happened, because I actually went through the whole game and never used one.
Yeah, I was kind of planning on doing that, but I just
You'll be happy you did.
That I did use them. Okay,
Just,
a little difficult.
Just because the final fight without some extra help is hard.
Yeah, I'm actually finding as the game goes on, I'm not struggling with battles as much as I was at the beginning. Like, I feel like I'm getting very powerful. I mean, we're doing a lot of side quests, not everything. I think we're level 9, I think. Halfway through level 9. Or was it maxed at 12?
It's 12 or 13, but yeah.
12 or 13.
I think by the time I made it into Baldur's Gate, I was like 11.
Oh, okay.
And then, like, halfway through, like, actually being in Baldur's Gate, I maxed out. Like, okay.
What an adorably low level cap.
There's
right.
There's a specific. Kevin and I have talked about this at length. There's a specific reason why, and it's because they don't want to give you access to the spell Wish.
Which I guess would be hard to translate to video game.
Not only that, like, it would be like, oh, I wish none of this ever happened. Poof, game over.
Yeah. So Baldur's Gate 3, I already can't wait until next week. I really want to push the story forward and tie up some of these loose ends that have been on my quest log for forever. That
Sleeping with everyone.
I've not slept with anybody. People have tried.
Yeah?
Asterion, really.
I'm sorry. It's more weird when Will does it. You're just like, we're friends. Hey, you want to sleep with each other? No.
Yeah, I avoid all romance stuff.
Man, I wish all friends introduce themselves like that. Really get to know each other up front.
Oh no, man! You got to go for the win with Shadowheart.
Shadowheart does not exist in my Baldur's Gate anymore. Remember? Oh yeah, did you hear that, CB?
No.
Maybe you didn't hear that episode.
Did you murder ball her?
We killed Shadowheart. Shadowheart is dead.
Oh.
We looted her corpse. We had to fight her.
I redeemed her during that fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know we could do that, and Kevin has still not forgiven me. So.
All
All right.
Yeah. How dare you kill the emo girl?
So thanks to Kevin and Paul for continuing to play me and push me to play. Like, we have a text thread between the three of us, and every Friday or Saturday we're like, "Are we good for Sunday? Please tell me we're good for Sunday."
Scott has a text thread. Go figure.
I have a lot of text threads. All right. Well, before we go too long into this intro, let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. Before we get to the news, I want to remind everybody about eWin Racing. I am sitting comfortably in my eWin Racing chair. CB, you sat in an eWin Racing chair. Everybody's tired of hearing me talk about it. You're a bigger fella, right?
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a negative way, but you are bigger than I am.
You just called me fat. How dare you? But yes.
How comfortable was this chair for you?
Chair is incredibly comfortable. I mean, it fits people of all shapes and sizes. I mean, honestly, if I didn't already have a computer chair that I liked, in fact, that would probably be my next computer chair purchase. Is a is something along the lines of like the eWin racing chair. They're super, super comfortable. I enjoyed it.
And I've had this thing for over a year now. Use this every week, at least twice a week. Not a single sign of wear on this thing. And I've actually carted this around to
R2V2.
R2V2, our Extra Life event.
Oh yeah.
It's gotten quite a bit of use and quite a bit of time in the back of my car. It just feels like it's brand new still. It's very, very comfortable. These chairs are designed for, like CB said, for people of all sizes. They can hold up to 500 pounds of weight, depending on the size you get. eWin also provides gaming desks and floor mats as well, so check them out. And we got a deal for you. If you head over to ewinracing.com and use our promo code TGO, you can get 25% off your first purchase. And I hope you do. It helps out eWin Racing. It helps us out. And it's going to help you out most of all because you're not going to be disappointed. We've got multiple listeners that have purchased these chairs, and they just praise them up and down. Again, ewinracing.com /, just use the promo code TGO. New trailers. We got a trailer for the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 film, which came out. It's got Keanu Reeves as Shadow the Hedgehog. Michael Bonovich shared a couple trailers with us. Power Wash Simulator's got Shrek DLC as well as a trailer for Kyo Ryu, which the one where you're playing as a dinosaur, just like a little velociraptor running around.
He's just chilling, man. You want to be a little V-Raptor?
It looks.
So I call him in the streets, a V-Raptor.
It looked like Stray, but as a dinosaur. This is really what it reminded me of.
Well, when you say it like that sounds awesome.
I know, right? Drew Ross shared the latest multiplayer reveal trailer for Call of Duty Black Ops 6, which comes out on October 26th. Tim Thane shared the new Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom trailer, which comes out September 26th. Boy, they just keep pumping out new trailers for that game. You guys already sold me. You don't have to keep doing that.
It's coming out, man.
And David Newman shared a trailer for Green Hawk Platoon, which is a PC, Army Man shooter. I think it might be free to play.
No. But slow your roll. That's not just an Army Man shooter. That is Army Men 3D from when we were kids.
Yeah, I know.
Like Sarge's Heroes and all those.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The trailer felt like it was just cinematic. If the gameplay looks like that,
oh, dude, I'm
really impressed.
I am so in. That one looks like a blast.
If there was a story or something like that, I could run through and do that. That would be cool. But it's just multiplayer. I don't feel like getting smoked.
How tough can the competition be on an Green Army Men game, right?
Your feet are tied
Dude,
together with plastic.
You're underestimating people. Anyway, as for the news, I got nothing but bad news this week. Legitimately nothing but bad news.
I tried finding positive news.
So did I.
It's just
then I dumped more bad news on you guys today.
Yeah, so I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it Uka? Uka Studio?
Yeah.
Is shutting down. Rocksteady laid off some staff this week. Ballistic Moon laid off several staff members. And Concord, the game that just released 2 weeks ago, is shutting down. Straight up shutting down.
Yep.
Zach, where do you want to start?
I'm gonna start a little positive. Let's talk about that Sonic the Hedgehog 3 trailer.
All right.
Have you guys watched this?
I did.
So I was a little nervous when the rumors were saying Keanu Reeves is Shadow, because I love Keanu Reeves. I'll watch anything the man's in, but he's not a good actor.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I was worried about a voice performance. However, I thought he was great.
I thought so as well.
He really fits the look of the character. It was very nice. Seeing Jim Carrey there, I didn't I haven't been reading up on the details of this movie, so I didn't know if he was going to be back or not. I know he keeps threatening to retire, but I guess he just can't give up the Robotnik job. It just means too much to him. Which
it works for him in ways I would not have expected.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's perfect. Dude, I thought this trailer was great. Looking a little darker than Sonic's Part 1 and 2. But it's got my boy in there, my Shadow, tearing it up. It's great.
Kicking the crap out of Sonic.
They showed that little girl who's about to get shot right in front of him. It's gonna be a pretty harrowing movie for the youth. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, dude.
It does look great. I still need to go back and finish the second one. But yeah, I love that this franchise is still going. Like it seems like it's not slowing down either.
Right.
Like what else is there to reveal? I don't know enough about the Sonic lore. I know the big one was Tails, Big the Cat.
Let's say, well, we still need Amy and Rouge, really. Amy Rose and Rouge's Bat. I'm saying, but those two, Silver shows up now and again, but like Rouge and Amy, those are staples. We gotta get the girls in here. It's kind of a boys' show right now.
Yeah.
Let's get some ladies and let's get Rouge flirting it up with Knuckles. This kind of dumber version of Knuckles, that'll be fun. But
I kind of like Idris Elba as Knuckles, honestly.
I like Idris Elba as Knuckles. I'm saying he is dumber than the video game version of Knuckles. That's all.
He seems way cooler in the games. Like I know there's not like a ton of dialogue in the original 3 games.
Right, and he's much more straight faced, no nonsense. There's no goofball energy to Knuckles in the game series.
Did either of you watch the show, the Knuckles?
I did not.
No,
I didn't either.
Once I heard that, I was excited until they said it was like him palling around with that cop character, the sidekick cop, and I don't like him in the movie, so I definitely didn't want him all up in a show.
Yeah.
So.
And how good does Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom look? Like,
I don't know,
looks
man.
great.
I'll be busy.
Oh, speaking of, I didn't tell you guys. Guess what came in the mail today?
Stuff.
Something Zelda related.
Something Zelda related.
Master.
The first.
A boomerang.
No, the first Zelda Lego set.
Oh, the Deku Tree?
Yeah, it arrived in the mail today.
Wasn't that like hundreds of dollars?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds great.
I was reminded of that because when I pre-ordered it, they do the thing where they don't charge you until it ships.
Oh, okay.
So in my mind, I had this amount of money in my checking account, and I went to look at my checking account, and it was over $300-something shy. And I was like, "What just happened?"
Oh, it was the Deku Tree.
Yeah, they shipped my Lego set. So,
dude, I can't wait to see you build it. So you see the pictures of it. It'll be great.
No, it's gonna sit on the shelf in the box.
It's so sad.
Scott doesn't open Zelda things.
No.
Now this is the one that comes with like 2 versions of the Deku Tree, right? Like the Ocarina version and the Breath of the Wild version. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
So if anyone sees a second one on the secondhand market with maybe a couple pieces missing that I could still put together for cheap, I would like to put it together, but I just can't do it.
The first thing that everybody's going to do when they open those things is pull the minifigs and be like, okay, who wants all these brown pieces?
You just pay $300 just to have a little link on your shelf?
There are people that pay more for those pieces.
I believe it.
Yeah. CB, which bad news would you like to talk about?
Oh, well, I'm going to combine 2 because I'm going to have a hot take moment here.
Uh-oh.
So
No way, you?
No, yeah, never.
Will it be a classic hot take that really is just kind of a lukewarm one, or?
Well, with what I'm going to say, some people might get offended. First off, Rocksteady laid off staff this week.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Like what? So Rocksteady laid off some of their Q&A team.
Mm-hmm.
Due to poor sales of Suicide Squad: The Justice League,
right,
which they took a pretty massive hit.
$200 million.
I think it's still the biggest recorded bomb in video game history, right?
Yeah.
So that's something to be proud of.
It overtook Yetee.
But don't worry, none of the executives who made the calls that got us here are going to face any repercussions. But you're going to chop that QA team in half.
Yeah.
No, I know that they got revived, but it's funny to me that a game that sold well, reviewed well, and felt pretty heavily revered. What was that game on Xbox with the rhythm-based guitar slashing game?
Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush. That developer got closed, even though they made money.
Yeah.
Rocksteady takes a $200 million bath
because it's
and they just let go some QA testers.
Yeah. So
did you guys hear? This is spoilers for Kill the Justice League. So fast forward 30 seconds if you're somehow worried. Did you hear that the latest season brought the Justice League back to life anyway?
I mean,
no
are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. Of course, it's just they couldn't even you can't even go a year pretending that they're dead.
Right.
I mean, no, nobody thought they were actually going to kill the Justice League. Nobody thought that.
No. Yeah. So CB, where's your hot take?
Hang on. So from there, 18 people were laid off.
Okay.
18 people. Also, Ballistic Moon laid off several staff members. This is the developer that has yet to release the remake of Until Dawn, which is supposedly going to release sometime in October. They laid off 11 people.
Okay.
At this point in time, I'm sorry, but now it feels like we're fishing for like
Bad
drama.
news.
Because at this point in time, it's like it wasn't even like a noticeable amount of staff. Like you laid off less than 20 people, both companies.
I mean, it's half of the QA team.
But it's the QA team. Okay, we don't have anything in development right now. What are you going to do? Nothing.
I can somewhat see where you're coming from, Rocksteady, but Ballistic Moon hasn't even put out the game yet.
Yeah, and it's their first one,
and they're already getting punished. That seems crazy. I'm not familiar enough with Ballistic Moon to know whether or not this is their first game or not. But
yeah, I don't know how many employees either company has total, but it doesn't seem. It's not like before where it's like, oh, Microsoft laid off 500 people, Sony laid off like 450. Like these seem like regular. Like we had to trim the fat a little, guys. Like granted, stuff hasn't come out yet. Budgets are getting tight. We got to do something. This just feels like normal everyday business.
I get that to some degree. I still don't like people losing jobs, especially in an industry that I love so much. The thing that kind of stood out to me, especially with the Ballistic Moon story, is the use of the word redundant that some of these employees use in their LinkedIn profiles. I'm going to read a couple for you here. Like many others in this wonderful but turbulent history, I am sadly being made redundant from my role. Another said, unfortunately, my current role at Ballistic Moon is being made redundant, so I'm looking for new opportunities. It just seems very specific for them to use that terminology, and it makes me wonder how were they made aware that they were not going to be, working for this company anymore.
Redundant.
Was it in an email that used that word redundant?
Well, redundant seems like it's this company's PR buzzword.
I say, yeah,
right.
That's some corporate speak for sure.
It's corporate. Yeah, it's definitely corporate speak, but it could be. Here's the thing: like you have yet to release your game. I don't know what the time frame for the game's release was initially, but both of these stories feel like, hey, like we haven't put the game out yet. It's getting close, but unfortunately, right now, like money's getting tight. We're a little overinflated on budget. We have to do something.
I get that. These
to me seem like normal comings and goings of a business.
I get it. And I'm not a business person. I don't understand the ins and outs, but we've never once ever heard someone in upper management or CEO level or these people making so much money being referred to as redundant.
Right. Well, I mean, everybody above like the actual programmers to me seems redundant. They don't need to be there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why don't you want to trim the fat? Why don't you keep things going and not pay those people? I don't know. It's difficult for me to say that because that's what my heart says. I don't understand business quite like everybody else, but I just...
No, you're absolutely right. Like, I think 98% of anybody in upper level management in this country currently is overpaid for what they actually do as a job.
Right.
Granted, yes, I'm all for capitalism, the game, but at some point in time, there needs to be a little bit of a reckoning because as these CEOs get paid more and more and more, and we keep trimming from the bottom, sooner or later, what's going to happen is they're like, crap, I have nothing to stand on anymore, and I'm going to fall.
Right. We're just going to shut the whole thing down.
But meanwhile, those people still have made their millions, so whatever, they'll just get hired by another company.
Right.
Because you look at all these CEOs, they're like trading cards. They get traded from one to the next.
A good thing on your resume? I work for this company that got shut down.
It seems to not matter.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I just
for,
don't...
For executives anyway, obviously.
Like, what do you got to do as an executive to not be hired by another company? Like,
Yeah,
mean,
we know what the line is, and nobody wants to cross it.
Yeah.
It usually you have to say something fairly heinous or do something fairly heinous.
yeah. We kind of glossed over this Uka studio as well. Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that. Auka, Ouka. Their first game, if the name of that studio doesn't sound familiar, is because they only have one game released, and that game happens to be Visions of Mana, which just released on the 29th, like not even a week ago. It blows my mind. How can you know that game is not doing well if it's been out for a week? So this is a Tencent and NetEase owned studio.
Yeah, right there. Stop. Right
Yeah.
there. I'm. Oh God, I can't
Oh
believe
man,
I'm
he's
saying
getting
this.
serious now. Look at that
I'm
face.
I'm gonna to a point. I'm gonna agree with things that Zack has said in the past. That this consolidation stuff, which I was for in the very beginning, has now turned into what I had feared at the time, where it's basically I'm just buying you for your IPs. Finish this work. I'm gonna keep everything you did and then fire all of you.
Zach was right.
My goodness, this is what it
Oh,
looks
yeah.
like.
That's what this, because
Consolidation.
you look at like Tencent, Microsoft, Sony. That's what they're doing. All these companies that they're getting shut down. Congrats, I bought your IPs. They belong to me now. Goodbye.
This is what it looks like when CB eats crow. I've always wondered.
It's such a rare sight.
I went into it with the highest of hopes that these companies would do the right thing for the gamers and their employees. And in the end, like even Phil Spencer now is just like leaving a horrible taste in my mouth. Like every time I say his name, the only one that I can stand by still to this day, and I'm waiting for him to turn evil, is God Howard.
Yeah. And also just to twist the knife a little harder on Uka Studios, because it didn't really get reported over here until a couple days ago, but they Tencent announced they were shutting them down on the day Visions of Mana came out.
It just
So no basis on the sales performance. And imagine if you're on the team, you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what people are going to say about my game. And you're like, you know, open up your computer to check it out. Oh, I got an email from the boss. What's going on here? You're fired. You don't even know what people think about your game yet. And you're already on LinkedIn.
That's where I want to reach out to the developers and be like, hey, you guys made the game. You got some extra copies laying around. Can I buy a copy just directly from you?
There you go. Yeah,
like,
get them some money from off their comps.
Yeah.
Like that's not a bad idea.
Oh, well, here's at the same time, all those digital codes that they have and everything, I'm willing to bet the moment they got fired, they just went delete.
Yeah.
Tencent was like, no, I'm not going to let you keep anything. Turn over all unused codes. Goodbye.
Right.
But it does seem like Tencent reached a little too far, a little too fast, buying up all these companies, and now they're paying the piper.
Yeah, that's how it works, right? People in charge make the decisions, and then somebody else suffers for those poor decisions.
Yeah. So watch out for anything with was it Level Infinite? That's their rebrand right over here.
Yeah.
You know, so watch out for that publisher.
I am shocked that you guys left me, which what I consider, I mean, it just happened like a few hours ago, right?
Oh,
It is breaking news.
After we reported on it last week, you aren't surprised by this news?
I kind of am, man. This is kind of crazy.
This is unprecedented.
It is, but at the same time, with your opening week, you're like, we hit peak 648 players.
All right, so people wonder what we're talking about. We're talking about Concord is shutting down. The game hasn't even been out for 2 weeks. It came out on August 23rd.
Correct yourself. It's only shutting down on PlayStation 5, not PC.
That's good shut down PC. You're getting full refund. It's shutting down. You're getting full refunds on PC. They even have a whole.
I heard it was only the PlayStation stuff that was getting shuttered.
No, PlayStation is giving you your money back. They're refunding. So they're shutting down the server. Okay. They're shutting down the game. They're refunding your money. But on PlayStation, they're refunding you through whatever means you paid for it on PlayStation, like your credit card or whatever. If you bought it on Steam, Epic Game Store, or a physical purchase of the game, you were able to get a refund from whatever retailer you purchased it from.
What a weird conversation you gotta have with Best Buy there. hey man, can I get my money back for this game that's useless? It's funny.
I don't know, man. I saw the game on sale at Walmart for like $40, and I don't remember how. I think it was like a $50 game,
No,
right?
it's a $40 game.
Oh, is it? So that's
Yeah.
not even a discounted price, but I'm kind of tempted to grab one and just like, hey,
You
not gonna play it.
It'll sit right there on the shelf with all those Amico games I have.
So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you rush out and buy it tomorrow, as of this recording, you'll still have like 2 days left to play it. You could be one of those. Although I don't know if you see what like the Reddit is upset because people are now they're just like joining matches and killing themselves because I guess you get like guaranteed XP for playing a match. So the quickest way to level up right now is to just keep killing yourself so you lose. And because people are trying to get the trophies before it goes offline.
Okay.
So it's like the people who were left playing are now kind of making it unplayable for everybody else because people are chasing the trophies.
I was kind of hoping it would have gone the other direction, and like all of a sudden there's just like this resurgence of people that are because you can't buy it now, right? They shut down the store pages.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like I saw this right, and like when I saw it, it was like posted 4 minutes ago. I was like, oh man, I gotta go buy this because I'm gonna get the guaranteed refund, right? So what do I gotta lose?
Right.
And it was already off the store.
Yep.
I was like, whoa, man. I wanted to at least be one of the 30,000 people who'd be like, yeah, I played Concord.
Yeah. Now we can never say it unless bought a fit. You can't even play it.
Yeah,
Right.
you can put it in and be like,
physical
what
disc.
is this?
Yeah.
Your PlayStation will be like, I've never heard of this game. Get it away from me.
So let me read to you guys the quote from director Ryan Ellis. He wrote in a PlayStation blog post today. He said, Concord fans, we've been listening closely to your feedback since the launch of Concord on PlayStation 5 and PC. I want to thank everyone who has joined the journey aboard the North Star. Your support and the passionate community that has grown around the game has meant the world to us. However, while many qualities of the experience resonated with players, we also recognize that other aspects of the game and our initial launch didn't land the way we'd intended. Therefore, at this time, we have decided to take the game offline beginning September 6th, 2024, and explore options, including those that will better reach our players. While we determine the best path ahead, Concord sales will cease immediately, and we will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased the game for PS5 or PC. Now, that's unquote. I don't understand this. I mean, is a multiplayer game just not worthwhile at all if it doesn't come out the gate swinging?
Yeah.
Is there no potential for resurgence and you just cut your losses and take that's got to be a massive hit, right? Who's footing the bill? Is Sony footing that bill?
Yes, they are, right? Because they own the studio and everything, so it's all on them. But I mean, there's a disastrous launch like Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League, where the Steam charts are like 13,000 people are playing it, and that's considered a terrible launch for a multiplayer game. And Concord had 690. So this is a catastrophic failure in the likes of which we have never seen.
697.
I'm so sorry. Shout out to those 7 dudes. So this is a catastrophic failure, the likes of which we have just never seen for this kind of game.
And why? Is it like?
What?
I mean, I understand that, but people love Overwatch. I'm not going to like this game because I'm not a multiplayer game guy. But you would think that people would be chomping at the bit for another game that feels familiar yet different.
Overwatch is made by Blizzard. Blizzard has a huge fan base.
Yeah.
The characters look interesting in Overwatch.
Yeah.
So that helps.
So, I mean, you're now looking at something that hasn't been tested, that's console exclusive. I don't completely forgot about this game. So,
it's multifaceted. I think the $40 price tag is a huge barrier, obviously, when all of your competitors are free, except for Overwatch. And most people, if you wanted to play Overwatch, surely you bought it on sale at some point, before now.
Right.
But every other multiplayer shooter offering is free. You're going to look a little foolish coming out of $40. And, what it means that there was less monetization, so that's nice. But it also means that, like, if you want to play with your friends, you also got to convince all of them to spend $40 each, right?
Right.
So it's just a compound effect that's just not gonna happen in today's market, clearly, unless you have something special or unique. And this game nothing about it looked special, right? The gameplay looked very similar to Overwatch or Valorant or something like that. And then, there's no uniqueness to the world of the characters, right? Because it looks like Kmart brand Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing exciting about the roster, and there's just nothing. Like I look through the roster trying to see who the cool character would be, and none of them look cool. There's like 2 of them that look fine, but that's not gonna do it. And then that debut trailer was it was awful.
I was just gonna say, I think honestly, them debuting that game as the opener for that state of play hurt that game more than they expected it to. Because when that trailer started and it looked like, like you said, Wish.com, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
But I was still kind of like, okay, new IP, maybe I'll be interested. And then it was just a multiplayer shooter.
But
right.
I still think like Zack had a point though. Like when you have Fortnite free, Smite free, like
Apex Legends
isn't Warzone?
Warzone?
Yeah, free to play, yeah.
So you have these juggernauts that are free. Like,
right.
I have no interest in playing, so, and like unless it's something super amazing, which I completely forgot this game was coming out until Zach's like, hey, maybe you should play Concord. By the way, as of this moment right now, because I just tried to do it, I tried to buy a physical copy through Walmart or Amazon. Both unavailable. They've been pulled.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's good. So, people aren't wasting money. But, CB, that's true, because I remember I said, you should pick up Concord. You're like, maybe I will. Then you, Googled it and you remembered what it was. You're like, no, I won't. Yeah, that's pretty funny. No, I think this sucks. I'm sure there's a lot of tears at the studio, right? They put 8 years into this thing, but I mean, they had to know the writing was on the wall after that state of play, right? That PlayStation Showcase.
Not that bad. Not this bad, man.
Not worst multiplayer launch in history bad, of course.
Right.
But you had to know it was over.
God,
right?
What was that other multiplayer game that just came out on PlayStation last year that everybody abandoned right away?
I
don't know. Are you talking about the Xbox one, Redfall?
No, there was that it was something Ball or
I have no idea. Ball?
There was a multiplayer game that you tried to get me to play with you one day just to check it out, and
I tried to get you to play with me? A multiplayer game?
There was something. It's blown. God, I'm gonna have to go through and figure out what it was.
When Knockout City, the dodgeball game?
Yes,
yeah.
Knockout City.
Oh yeah, we did. We played that for 4 rounds, and thinking that we were done, right?
Yeah.
Which
I
had no interest in playing, but you got me. You were like, you should play this, and I was like, a band.
I could convince you to play a free downloadable game.
Well, they couldn't convince you
terrible
either.
Salesman. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that irritates me the most about this story is the people that are tap dancing on the grave of the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fanboys that are like, oh, she brought it to Xbox, blah blah blah. They're because it's a PlayStation exclusive, they're cheering this on and saying, oh yeah, Sony sucks. I'm like, just stop.
Well, I mean, Firewalk's not dead yet.
The game is dead though. I mean,
right. I'm more worried for Firewalk Studios now.
Yeah.
It's easy to feel sorry for Firewalk, and you should, I suppose. That's a lot of jobs, obviously. But there is it's nice to have a small victory for corporate cynicism, right? Because this game looked like it was made in a boardroom. This game seemed like it was designed to try to make maximum profits. It didn't seem like this game did not seem like it was made with the heart. Perhaps passion for the gameplay, obviously, but in terms of the look of the characters and everything, it just didn't feel. It didn't feel like there was a passionate studio behind those designs. It felt like a boardroom saying yes, check this box, please.
Yeah, see that game over there? It's the people that made Ghostbusters saying, showing them Huey Lewis in the news, I want a new drug.
I want
and
that.
Saying, make something like that, and they come up with the Ghostbusters theme song.
Right.
I'm just what blows my mind is PlayStation bought an entire company to do multiplayer stuff. And somehow their multiplayer game, which they could have just been phone a friend down the hall, like, hey, I know you guys do multiplayer games. Can you come check this out? See, like, is this okay?
You think it would have been more successful if they had gone the free-to-play route and done the cosmetic stuff?
Absolutely.
I still think I think it would have been shut down in 2 months rather than 2 weeks, but it would have done better. But I really do think because I guess at least if it's free to play, yeah, you could hook people on the gameplay, but there is just something off-putting about. Like, have you looked at the skins for these characters? Like, they're all really lame.
Well, here's the thing: it would have had the normal life cycle of a free to play, non like huge title, like all the other ones, where it's around for 2 to 3 months. It garners like that 1 to 5,000 regular player marks, and then fades into obscurity.
Right, and it's just quietly talked about by its passionate fan base.
Yes,
but then it would probably get obliterated once Marvel Rivals comes out because that'll have the real Guardians of the Galaxy in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll be free to play.
That game is going to do so well.
It's going to be a money printing empire.
I legitimately feel bad for everybody at this studio, though. Like, these people have been working on a game for a while. It comes out and it's like, we haven't even been out for 2 weeks. Shutting it down.
And they were clearly excited about it when they were presenting it, right? Like I know you said it feels like it was put together, by a boardroom or whatever, but there was still love behind it. Nobody goes to try to make a mediocre game.
To clarify, I'm talking about the aesthetic and the art aspect.
Yeah,
it just looks so clean and corporate. Where by all accounts, the gameplay is supposed to be good, right? So
right,
I assume that's where the passion went. Passion went.
Sometimes you wonder if they just don't take the 2 newest people in the office and they're like, hey man, like, this is your first game, go talk it up. Do the things. And we made this game, it's awesome. And meanwhile, everybody like the veterans are just sitting in the back being like, oh god.
I think they should just fire the art director and try with a different game.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the best
just release the game with whole new characters.
That would be interesting. I mean, you could even keep the personalities, right? Just make them look a little more stylized.
It worked for the Sonic movie, right? Remember when that first trailer dropped?
There you go, dude. Yes, Sonic movie. This thing. Keep the characters intact. There's. I'm sure there's good stuff to salvage there. I watched the few cutscenes they released with the game. They weren't unwatchable.
Mm-hmm.
Those characters. I mean, that main guy Lennox, he's still terrible, but the rest of the characters were fine.
Do you think this would have done better if it just had a little bit longer to cook?
No, I mean, they spent 8 years on it. How much more cooking do you need?
A long development cycle to have no payoff.
All right, now
oh my god, I didn't even think about it. You spend 8 years on a game and it exists for 2 weeks.
That just hit me like a dump truck. I'm like, 8 years.
God.
8. Do you think that they were working on something else and scrapped halfway through and just threw this together in a year and a half?
I don't know. Yeah,
this does not look like an 8-year game.
I agree with you, but I wouldn't have believed it if it weren't for the developers being like, "Yeah, 8 years spent, and we're finally releasing."
There is no way this is an 8-year game, unless it was 2 people in a garage programming on an Apple II computer and then just pushing it forward.
Yeah, Scott, you're right. The chapter in Schreier's upcoming book.
Yeah.
What happened to
Oh my god, dude, that Amazon video game animated show has a whole episode that they're doing about Concord.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Yeah, so they're gonna have an episode about a game that doesn't exist.
That's insane.
That's crazy, dude. I didn't even think about that. Oh my god.
If they would pull that episode?
It's gonna be the lost episode. It's gonna get cut for tax reasons.
I think it's a lot more fun if you just air it. It's just nobody knows. Or maybe
everybody goes to look this game up and they're like, "Where's Concord?"
Maybe
honestly, I would watch it. I would just out of morbid curiosity at this point.
Well, maybe you time your free to play or PlayStation Plus relaunch with that. If you do that, unless they're just fully giving up, of course.
Right.
But yeah, I'll watch that episode. That'll be my insight into Concord.
Yeah, right. The only experience you can have with the franchise anymore if you didn't get into it the first 2 weeks.
That's crazy. Yeah, dude. What about all the? Because they said they had a year worth of cutscenes already made for the game.
That's just what those episodes are.
They're just gonna,
they just took all that and strung them all together.
It'll be a bonus level for that, or a bonus episode for that. Sure, will just be a supercut of all the cutscenes.
No, they're just gonna cut it together and make a Netflix show.
Yeah, I mean, the cutscenes I watched looked expensive, so I believe you could pull that off. Yeah.
Well, let's move on. Real quick, I want to remind everybody about how you can support the Gaming Outsider. If you like what you listen to and would like to pitch in, drop a little tip for those of us doing this work, you can go to thegamingoutsider.com/thegocast. Different tiers available. $1 tier gets you the episodes a day earlier than everybody else. And the $3 tier and $5 tier gets you 1 or 2 bonus episodes each month. CB, why don't you let everybody know what we gave him this month?
Oh, Scott be reading a book. So he's reading Podcasts and Power-Ups, the book that I so generously gifted him. Took so long to write it.
Did either of you listen to a chapter?
I just downloaded all 3 of them.
I didn't know. No one let me know it was live.
Oh, well,
Now I know.
It's live. Congrats, it's here.
It's live. We got 3 chapters.
No.
It is.
You posted it on Facebook. Zach, don't got to Facebooks.
I posted on Discord, and
I didn't see that. I think you're lying
too.
I think you're lying. It's no problem. You're just a known liar. Well, I see. There's 2 listings for anyway. Am I talked about? Am I mentioned on this?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
You are mentioned at some point, but the first 3 chapters, and maybe I should have read it first and pick and chose chapters that actually had more to do with gaming, because the first 3 chapters are about me teaching.
Oh no, you still got more. You got more reading to do.
So you're gonna make me do it, even
book.
if we don't publish it for Patreon. You're gonna make me record
the whole
damn
thing.
thing.
Oh,
I want to hear you. I want to hear you talk about me in your sultry audiobook voice.
All right.
But look at this
I would love to hear your thoughts. It is so awkwardly written, guys. The writing, every sentence is the exact same sentence structure. It's just kind of crazy to me. But I genuinely want to hear what people think of it. I kind of, stuck it in this month. I owed our $5 tier members an episode last month, so I did that. And then for both episodes for the month of August, just because I needed to get something out. I don't want to keep releasing that if you guys don't like it. If you want to hear more, please let me know. I gave the first chapter to the $3 tier members, so you can get a taste of it, but it will be for the $5 tier in the near future, and we'll do some more stuff.
You clearly have to get to a point, though, where you have to read about us.
Well, yeah, and podcasting. I feel like it's 3 chapters of me teaching a bunch of bull crap about what I do in the classroom as a middle school teacher.
I want to know. I want to know what AI thinks that you do.
Apparently, I have a pet hamster in my classroom.
Oh, what's its name?
That is up to shenanigans. I can't remember his name, but it's in the.
I would laugh if it changed the name like every other chapter.
That would be pretty funny. But we got some other stuff planned as well. We'll keep that close to the vest for now. Steve and I were talking off air about a couple of retro outsider ideas, so stay tuned for that. Again, patreon.com/thegocast. Let's go ahead now and jump into the new games that we've been playing. Zach, you got quite a list this week. Sadly, I want to play a bunch of them.
Say video games are coming out, right?
Yeah.
Right at the top, PlayStation returns to a mascot platformer with Astrobot coming to PS5 September 6th. That's exciting. All the Miles Edgeworth games are collected in Ace Attorney Investigations Collection coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC September 6th. Dribble That Basketball and NBA 2K25 coming to all consoles and PC September 6th. Sunsoft is back. A retro game collection features 3 games I've never heard of that are apparently made by Sunsoft. Coming to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, Switch, PC, September 6th. Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2, perhaps it's our pool of writers' most anticipated game of the year going by.
We've never had so many writers request to review this game.
Yes.
I seriously think there's 4 on the line that want to review it.
This is the third-person shooter follow-up to, what is it, 2012 is the last one?
Yeah.
I never played the first one. Yeah. Is it good?
Dude, it's great.
Isn't it supposed to just be? It's very Gearsy, right?
It looks
Yes.
like Gears to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they have chainsaw swords in Warhammer 40K, so
Yeah.
that checks out. But anyway, that's not as cool as a chainsaw assault rifle. Just to say, that's way cooler. Coming
Yeah,
in,
I mean, it's a melee weapon with another melee weapon attached to it. No,
yeah,
I want to.
yeah, loser stuff. Am I right? Coming to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC September 9th. Rugrats Adventures in Gameland, new 2D platformer starring the Nickelodeon crew, coming to all consoles and PC September 10th.
I believe, isn't that a remake?
Is that right?
Because they do the thing where like you can switch from the old graphics to the new graphics thing.
I thought maybe I must be mistaken with another game, because I remember they're doing some kind of game where they're pretending it was a lost game they found. But this must
Maybe I'm mixing it up. Then it could be totally my error.
I don't know. I trust you more than I trust me. Classic Atari game Yars gets reimagined as a gear-gated adventure with Yars Rising. That's coming from way forward, man. Kings of the genre. That's coming to all consoles and PC September 10th. I Am Your Beast was originally supposed to come out in August. Got delayed to September 10th. This is a first-person shooter from the guys that made El Paso Elsewhere and Clickholding. So this studio puts out games, man. This is like you're like an agent on the run, but they learned that they should be afraid of you. Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown is a racing game that I swear was announced like 4 years ago, but it's finally coming out on PS5 and Xbox Series consoles as well as PC September 12th. Lollipop Chainsaw Repop, the remaster of the cheerleading zombie slaying game where Michael Rosenbaum plays your disembodied boyfriend's head, comes to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and Switch as well as PC September 12th. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Game Collection Arcade Classic, exactly what it sounds like. It's coming to PS4, Switch, and PC September 12th. Caravan Sandwich is a kind of like an adventure puzzle game where you have a nice little van traverse across the desert. That's going to PS5, Switch, and PC September 12th. Wild Bastards, a space western strategy shooter. There's a lot going on in that game. That's going to PS5, Xbox Series console, Switch, and PC September 12th. Fabledim, city builder looking game, coming to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and Switch. September 12th. Garden Witch Life is a cozy game where you play as a witch with the Harvest Moon, but as a witch. Coming to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, Switch, and PC September 12th. And then the Jackbox Naughty Pack, a bunch of more flirtatious Jackbox games coming to all consoles and PC September 12th. Scott, you said there were 4 games on this list that are exciting you?
Yeah, but I'm just going to talk about one because I don't want to be here for forever. Yars Rising.
Yeah.
Obviously scratches that itch for me. And it's weird that the Yars universe is a thing. like the original Yars Revenge was just a pretty simple, not even a shmup. It was just like, it was a rudimentary
rotating shooter.
Yeah.
Would you call it a rotating shooter?
Right. Well, that's
it was really clever.
Because you play as a hacker in this game. That's the hacking minigame, is playing classic Yars.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the Yars style looks really cool, and I love this style of game. That's in the top one on my list, but I just don't see me playing anything new until October 14th. Is
there something happening on October 14th?
R2V2 will be over.
Oh, I see.
On October 14th. And I got Zelda in between there. So,
right, yeah.
I kind of have to play Zelda. I mean,
dude, I kind of want to
have to.
Can you just briefly tell me what the other games are? I'm curious.
Oh, well, I mean, Lollipop Chainsaw, I had fun with that game for about 45 minutes when I played it originally.
Yeah.
Up skirts,
pervert. But I kind of just wonder if I want to know what it is that made me put that game down, because it just seems like ridiculous fun. And isn't that Suda?
Right.
That's Suda?
Yeah, the Shadows of the Damned people.
Yeah. Obviously Warhammer, but just because it looks like Gears. And I mean Jackbox.
Oh yeah, of course. You buy all of them, right?
Either buy them or get codes for them on occasion. So.
Okay.
Because that's like a game that I get, and I can invite people over that don't normally play games and do that. But with the house the way it is right now, that's just there's no way my wife will let me have company over. So I'll have to invite myself over to someone's house with my Xbox.
Yeah, and then make them play naughty games.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, CB? What's standing out for you on this list?
Oh, there's a list. But Space Marine 2. Yes.
Would that be that's the cream of the crop?
Oh,
for you?
that's the peak, man.
Okay, understood.
I love Space Marine 1. So when they announced this like years ago, it's been on my radar. Lollipop Chainsaw, obviously. I loved it the first time around. I'll be playing it again. Astrobot.
Oh, I forgot about that. That would be my number 2.
Yeah.
Probably.
And then Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting.
I probably will. I would probably put Yars ahead of Astrobot, but I would probably play Astrobot before I would play Yars. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it does. Because
I want to save Yars for when I have time to actually fully enjoy that, but it's just Astrobot just looks so charming.
Yes, I feel like it's a game I need in my life right now.
He's just so cute.
He is great. Yeah. As for me, yeah, there's tons of games. I think Caravan Sandwich looks really good. I think Yars Rising looks very cool. What a fun way to bring that back. Lollipop Chainsaw Repop, of course. Who doesn't? I don't think I ever beat that game originally, so I would like to finish it as well. Yeah, similar to you, Scott. I want to see what stopped me from playing it. I think it was just repetitive, but
it felt very repetitive. That stands out to me.
That can be overcome. But the 2 games I'm most excited about on this are Astrobot and Wild Bastards. Astrobot, that charming little robot, and then Wild Bastards, of course. Space Western. What am I going to do? Say no? I did play the demo for that game during Steam Next Fest, and it was unlike anything I've ever played because it's like half board game, half arena shooter, and instead of swapping weapons, you swap what character you're playing as, with just the tap of a button. It's very interesting.
Okay,
there's a lot going on, so I think that's the number 1 game for me is Wild Bastards. But I know exactly what you mean, Scott, because I definitely feel like I'm more likely to play Astrobot sooner, just because. It's just charming.
Just comfortable.
Yeah, comfortable is a good word. Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I don't have to learn a whole lot of new mechanics. I can just sit down and just enjoy it.
It's going to teach you any new mechanics, and they're not going to be hard.
Yeah, and it's not going to be sophisticated, right? I've played 3D platformers before.
Plus, it's just a robot sack boy.
Yeah, so a little less horrifying. Who knows what's going on inside of that sack boy?
That's true.
I don't know.
Sackboy's inside Astrobot.
Yeah, but yeah,
that's the big reveal at the end of the game.
Oh, I would be devastated. Yeah, but you guys continue to play Star Wars. Speaking of space games, you guys are continuing to play Star Wars Outlaws. I guess Scott, you finally started it.
Oh yeah, I finally got a chance to start it. I imagine CB's much further than I am, but boy, I have thoughts. I can't decide if I like this game or not, which I know is not a ringing endorsement to start my review for Star Wars Outlaws, because there's a lot to like here, but there's a lot that I don't like. One thing in particular I don't like. There are stealth missions, which I don't have a problem with stealth missions, as long as they don't have you got caught, go back to the beginning and start restart the entire level over again. Those are frustrating. Why am I building up weapons? Why am I having all these gadgets? Why do I have nicks that can do all these things for me? And then they just tell me, oh, you just can't use that here.
Wait. Star Wars Outlaws has automatic failed stealth sections?
Yes.
Wow, when was the last time that's not common in games anymore, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's
now,
unusual.
The only saving grace I will say is that whenever you're caught, it's kind of funny to watch. Because they point their gun at you, and your character, does the whole Han Solo shrug shoulders, hey, very, very scoundrelly, hey, kind of. I don't know.
You got me.
You got when they fool the stormtroopers in Return of the Jedi at the he does that what you gonna do?
Right. The shoulder shrug thing. Yeah.
I kind of like that. Now, thankfully, it's not every mission. You're using your blaster and that kind of thing the fights are not super difficult for me as long as I'm in an area that I feel like I should be in. I got overwhelmed trying to venture out to where I needed to be. But the interesting part of this, and I don't remember if CB touched on this last week, is the factions. There are 3 main factions that you can choose to align with or make enemies.
I thought there were 4.
Is there 4? There's only 3 so far.
Oh, I feel like all the marketing said 4.
CB is smiling like
So
that.
because you have the Pikes, the Hutts, and Crimson Dawn, and then you have a new faction that they created just for this game.
Oh, I have not heard about the 4th one yet, as
Okay.
far as I am.
Understood. Got it.
It's complicated.
Okay.
Okay.
So he knows what I'm talking about. But the interesting thing that they do mechanically with that is, they have like not a morality meter, but like a reputation meter for each faction. So if you do something that aligns with the Hutts, then it goes from bad reputation to slightly better reputation. And what that does is it not only opens up, like, the shopkeepers give you better prices if you're in their territories, it actually opens up specific missions that are only available if you are in good with that particular faction.
They trust you more.
Is it a system, like, do you think it'll be possible to max them all out at the same time, or is there actual, like, yeah, okay, that's
okay.
But
if that's the case,
the higher up you get, sometimes things have good will be good for one, but have negative ramifications for another.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like it would be very difficult to do what
but
you're talking about.
There is a way to max all 3 out.
Okay.
It's not easy.
Not know that.
Okay, but through a normal gameplay, would it be difficult? Is what I'm asking. Not trying to min max or do some kind of special shenanigans.
I suppose you could.
I'm hoping that you don't, because that would suck.
I mean, it's clearly the way the missions are designed. It's clearly streamlined to, like, you align with one, but the way most of us play games, like, no, we're going to be like, I want to be friends with everyone.
Yeah, that's what stresses me out about that mechanic is, like, I'm struggling because I don't want to piss anybody off. And I feel like no matter what choice I make, it's going to make somebody like me and somebody else not like me.
That's what I want.
It's okay. I'm playing the way Zack wants.
Yeah, that feels like, what would be the point of a reputation system if you could max them all out? You know what I mean? Like, that would be so disappointing.
Right. And the cool thing is that you can go back and forth as much as you want. So you can get good with the Pikes, piss off the Hutts, and then kind of double cross them and just go do whatever you want to while you're good with it. So, like, one of the early stealth missions is in one of the Pike sections of the main hub city that you're in the first moon. And when you have to stealth through there because you're not in good with them. Now, if I were in good with them, I could just freely walk around there. They would let me in and I don't have to sneak around.
That's cool.
So it would make it easier for that section. But I'm not good with them because I did something to piss them off. So I was in slightly good, and then it dropped back down when I did something for either the Crimson Dawn or the Hutts.
Oh,
so that back and forth is really interesting. It feels very scoundrel, very, rogue, Han Solo-y type of stuff that you're doing.
It's also very easy to get negative hits to your reputation. Like, you'll be speeder biking through an area and you'll accidentally, like, cut one of them off.
Right.
And they'll get mad, they'll attack you, you shoot them, negative reputation.
Yeah. Can't be capping my henchmen, it's gonna make me upset.
Yeah. Or like you're flying through an open world area and you accidentally drive into their territory. That'll piss them off.
Yep, exactly. One thing you will like, Zach, unless I have not seen it, I have not seen a single skill tree.
You're not looking hard.
Okay. I've just found
it's not a skill tree that we're used to, but it's more like, as you're playing the game, like, you're going to do certain things and it's just going to be like, oh, you've become more proficient with this. You get an ability that's kind of similar to what you've been doing.
Right. Like you visit this many shopkeepers and then you get, like, these cards that you can do that will just unlock something, but it's not like a tree.
Right.
It's like, I can just now get this.
It's not like you're getting rewards for specific gameplay.
Yeah.
Right.
But
so you always have, like, checklisty kind of things that you can do, like, this many takedowns, silent takedowns, or distraction takedowns. Kind of like
it's an active skill board.
Yeah, I think a board is a better way to say it. And then there's gear, like you can get a new holster that allows you to carry more grenades, or you can get new vests that either do.
But it's gear that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you're like, oh, I got a holster that has like an additional spot for like more back to vials.
So it's gear, not loot.
Yes,
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
because you have to.
But
buy
some of it is like you'll just randomly, like if you search, you're rewarded.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I scour and I look for these things, and they're not that hard to locate. You just have to go off the beaten path, which we're all used to doing in video games. And but you're often rewarded with something, but then you have to have a choice. It's not like loot, like you're saying, like where there's always one loot that's going to be better. It just offers a different incentive than the last one did. So now I have to decide which one is the one that best fits my play style, which I think aligns more to what you like in these kinds of games.
That sounds pretty interesting. Yeah.
I'm actually going to say I kind of enjoy this more than Fallen Order.
Wow. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. You like Fallen
Because-
Order a lot.
I did. I like this in some aspects more. I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop and them to be like, and we're going to make this weird story beat, and now you're going to not like it. But
Yeah. Well, I guess. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, like, I love the story so far.
Me too.
I love the
Really?
way this plays. I'm probably significantly further than Scott. I like the
Well, yeah.
direction that it's taking. I've now started to build a quasi party even.
Oh, okay.
Which I like those characters. I'm currently on my 4th planet.
Okay.
The open world aspect of this game is awesome. Because
Yeah, that's one thing that I think that people like you guys will like, but it's frustrating for me as a guy that's played so much Assassin's Creed and Far Cry, and I like having that just go to the waypoint thing and you're fine. Whereas this is a little bit, I don't know if obtuse is the right word. It doesn't like just explicitly give you directions of what to do. There's lots of like search areas. You know, like you follow the waypoint to the search area, and then you just have to figure it out what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like
love.
there's there's one where you get a quest. Maybe I assume you've done this one, that you get a letter from somebody that says, "I've hidden a treasure behind a
Yep.
waterfall," and you follow the waypoint to this area. There's like 5 or 6 waterfalls, and you just kind of go until you find which one it is, and the treasure's gone, and then it says there's a letter from the guy that says he moved it to a different location, and it just gives you a waypoint to go to that location, and then you're there, and that's it. Like, you don't know what you're supposed to do next. You don't know what point. So there's a little less direction.
So you have to actually like read the letter to figure out what's going on.
Yes.
Well, the letter, okay, I must have missed something, because I read that letter a couple times, and it just says something like a more secure spot or something like that.
there's hints.
And the circle is a pretty sizable circle.
Yeah.
It's not like this nice and little narrow thing that I could just kind of walk around it a few steps. It is a
One of the
pretty big
missions-
chunk of the map.
One of the missions, like the search area is the entire town.
Oh wow, yeah.
So, but like for me, like I've loved Star Wars my whole life. So like actually getting to open world explore Tatooine
I feel like
is
I
amazing.
feel like any male saying "I've loved Star Wars my whole life" is a lot like them saying "I've breathed oxygen my whole life."
Yeah.
Yes, but like getting to walk around Tatooine finally, and just
Mhm.
exploring. Like I'm gonna go explore around the Junlin Wastes. Like,
Haven't we've walked around Tatooine in 1,000 Star Wars games though?
but this is so open and free form
okay,
that you're like, that rock over there, I want to climb that rock.
right.
For the first time, I'm amazed. Ubisoft is like, oh, we're not going to do towers, guys.
Remember how when we first played Grand Theft Auto 5 and we were like, wow, this city just feels alive?
Yeah,
That's what this feels like, but in Star Wars.
Really?
There's just stuff going
Dude.
on everywhere.
You
like
you can
the towns and cities are heavily populated.
yes,
Yeah,
Oh.
there's quite a few like
you can
characters
sit in the
that you can't
market
even,
and just listen to people
yeah.
and be like,
I played Sabak or
Yeah.
Sabat.
oh, Sabak
really?
loves, dude,
Yeah.
and it plays great. I'm loving playing Sabak because it's in like every major town center.
Oh my god.
And they have like a little dealer disc thing in the middle that like deals. You put your chip. Everybody puts their chips in the top of it.
That's the
and then
dealer
it deals.
droid.
I don't remember. What was that in?
In everything, it's always there. You
Like,
just didn't know because it's never been like functional in the movies.
Yeah.
so you're all just
It's a pretty simple game too. It's not.
You can bet on those horses from Kanto Bite.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, okay. I feel like the movie told you shouldn't do that, but go ahead and do it anyway.
Yeah, but you're an outlaw.
Sure.
You can
That's
just
true.
go
Yeah,
to
fair enough.
you can just go to the bars and like sit down and have a drink.
Wow. Okay, so you can actually just exist in the Star Wars universe.
Yes.
Oh,
it's
and there's
a
arcade
blast.
machines.
Yeah.
With like.
Can you play
legit-
Star Wars Arcade? The
I've
trilogy?
not found that yet. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just lots to do. I found myself just spending a lot of time just walking around because I didn't really have a sense of direction in terms of quests outside of the main quest. You do have a side quest log as well, like you do in these kinds of games. And I didn't want to follow the main quest until I did some other stuff and learned it, and I wound up not even doing the quest stuff. I just kind of walked around and explored. It feels cool walking around in the universe of Star Wars without everything being super familiar, but still feeling like Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't understand the whole like this game got 7s. This game feels way better than that.
Well, I think some of the criticisms, I haven't come across any of the glitches that I keep seeing a lot on TikTok, like people falling through the environment and the AI of the characters and all that, but I will say some of the character models feel off. Like some look really great.
That's kind of been a Ubisoft problem for a few
Yeah.
years now, where that was it Assassin's Creed Mirage, those character models were awful. There's like no facial animation. It was crazy.
Well, and it's funny you say that because I keep playing this thinking this feels like what I remember Xbox 360 and PS3 era games looking and moving like. I mean, like the graphics are obviously turned up, but like just the way that they move and the way that they, the ones like you're fighting and stuff, the way they move, it feels very old school. But it sounds like I'm saying that in a bad way, and I'm not. I kind of miss that.
Okay, other than aesthetic, like you can't give a game a 7 just on the way it looks. I'm sorry, because we play 8-bit games now on machines that can well outperform 8-bit games.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen it to its completion. I
The
haven't seen
gunplay is great.
I don't like how you can throw grenades.
I don't really use
like-
grenades, so that doesn't bother me.
I would use them more if they were easy to use. In order to use a grenade, you have to press up on the D-pad, which pauses the game. Then you have to press the A button to select a grenade. Then it goes back to the game, and now you're like in the throwing motion. You have no more use of your blaster. Like I want grenade to be, I'm
A
shooting
bumper.
my blaster, and I can just have a bumper, and I throw a grenade.
Yeah. That I can understand. But outside of that, like, the game feels great. The story has been fun.
And I like that they don't give you a lot of the backstory of K up front. It comes across like it's going to be peppered in throughout.
It is.
Yeah.
But
do we like K?
we like K.
Yeah.
We like K a
Yeah.
lot.
Okay.
Oh, have you pointed your gun at Nyx?
No. Why would I
Sounds
ever
mon-
do that?
Sounds
Well,
monstrous.
it's gonna make me sound like a monster. Don't
You are a
I
monster.
don't even think you can. No, someone told me to do it, and I did. You need to do it. Just trust me.
I love Nyx.
you're gonna love what happens. I'm not saying pull the trigger. Just point your gun at
Fry
Nyx.
that little.
By the
Tyke.
way, the first person that you actually get in your crew
Mhm.
is awesome.
Yeah.
Is
This
this
is the one that's in the title screen.
The droid.
Yeah.
Oh no, it
the one
wasn't
of
a droid.
the
It
one
was an
of the
organic.
box art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that character. Like that's the thing is like I have no ties to any of these characters. They're fun. They're well thought out.
Mhm.
I'm loving this game because it's the first game, like first time in a Star Wars game where I'm just like, it's not lightsabers everywhere.
Mhm.
I'm just
Yeah.
existing in a fun universe, doing my thing, and I love the
And
ship.
they
I
do
love
mention-
the ship.
they do mention stuff like because this takes place after the first after A New Hope, right?
It's after A New Hope before Empire.
Right. So some of that stuff is
I thought it was
referenced
after Empire.
No.
No, because they reference like how the Death Star just got blown up, and
Oh, okay.
it's like the Empire is starting to strike back. Like they're in the early stages of striking back.
Oh, okay.
So
and you do see stormtroopers as well, and it's really interesting seeing them kind of like in recovery mode. Like everybody knows they just got a huge blow against them.
Right.
So
and for some reason, all of a sudden, stormtroopers can shoot great.
Yeah, but people don't treat them with like
Respect.
Empire respect.
Well, you're in the
You know what I
Outer
mean?
Rim.
Like,
What do you expect? Nobody wants the
Well,
Empire
yeah,
there.
but I don't know why they're on this moon either. But anyway, I
I'm-
genuinely think you'll dig this, Zach. My
This-
big complaint is I don't like the auto fail stealth stuff because that gets frustrating
But
and it makes me want
I
to.
think that Zack would like that.
How are
Yeah.
the stealth mechanics themselves?
It's Assassin's Creed. Like there's literally tall grass that you can hide in.
Can you whistle?
You can whistle to
Yep.
bring them in.
Perfect.
You
But
can use nicks to like
Just hiding
distract
behind
them.
a box does not guarantee you're hiding.
As
Because
long
if
as
they
you're
have
on
if
broken line of
you're not
sight.
no, because like if it's but even in the grass, if they're in an elevated position, they can still see you.
Yeah.
So you've got to think about it a lot more. But yeah, Nyx as a distraction is great. Or you just
Oh,
like
by
go
the
bite
way-
that stormtrooper in the face.
Yeah. Remember how you were asking if there was a vent on the blaster, which CB confirmed
Oh,
there
yeah.
is.
Uh-huh.
But it does it with the right bumper, so it really feels like an active reload to me.
Does it have the active reload mechanic?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
It does?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Like
I
it
Dude,
brings
this-
up a little
I'm s-
meter, and
just-
then there's a little
Zach,
spot that you
this
have to
game
hit
is
perfectly.
for you.
Sounds great.
This game feels like every
Oh.
time that you've had a complaint about a Star Wars game on this
Yeah.
show, they were like,
Uh-huh.
"We're listening, Zach. We know.
Yeah.
We're building the game for you."
Oh, my
Plus,
gosh.
we didn't even talk about the platforming. There's like Uncharted kind of, gripping and jumping from this to that, but it's never super, glowy yellow thing that you have to go for. It's subtler than that. Like there are some things that I sat there and looked at. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Oh, I can actually grab onto a grate there. I didn't
And
know I could.
grappling hooks.
And the grappling hooks are a thing too.
Hmm.
Oh, and I love the hacking. I know you mentioned it last week.
The
you referenced it
splicing or the splicing, you're using the data spike.
Yeah, she got a data spike, which she puts in her hair, by the way. Like she's got her hair in a tiny
Oh.
little bun,
That's cool.
and that's where she keeps it. But the mechanic, and I think you made it sound like this was a game, something they've done in another game, but I've never seen it before. It's timing based, so you have to sit there and watch it for a second and look for the timing of this light flashing with the sound going, and you have to like mimic that so that you land on like the 2 or 3
Well, it's timing
Timing
and sound
things.
based.
timing and sound based. Yeah, it's just kind of clever and different way to do it, but you're never safe
Have you gotten to
when
any
you're
of the
doing
hard,
that. So,
hard ones yet?
huh?
Have you gotten to any
No,
of the
I've
hard,
only.
where instead of just like 1 or 2 cycles, it's like 3, 4, or even 5.
Well, but the nice thing is once you lock one in, you've like locked that one in for that cycle. So like if you start the cycle in the middle of a cycle, you could still go through and do it.
You get to the
Yeah.
hard ones, like it will change the timing. So instead
Oh,
of
yeah.
like beep beep beep, it's like beep beep beep. Like it gets faster, and then like you'll screw it up, and then it'll go to a different timing because it's
Right.
just all active. It's so much fun.
Oh, and you're not safe while you're hacking. It has a built-in mechanic that lets you look left and right. So if you're in a stealth
Oh.
mission while you're hacking, you can actually look to see if somebody is coming. If you need to back out of that, I just thought that was cool.
Oh, that is cool. It's like
And then
Thief
the
or something.
slicing mechanic is basically a game of Mastermind. If you remember that board game from the 80s,
Mhm.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And those were fun. I really like that as well. I just wish I had a little bit more direction with the side quests because I feel like I'm chasing stuff and then I get there and I'm like, I'm clearly not supposed to be here yet. Or I need to align with them first so I can walk around here freely to get that thing that I'm looking
Well, it
for.
sounds
Oh,
like
no,
it's up to you, right?
You you can absolutely sneak through.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I could not. There was no way for me to sneak into the spot where I was
Oh,
in. I was in
and
that
if you
big
get
pike
caught in those
territory.
spaces, they tax you as well.
Yep.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they start taking. It's kind of crazy.
Well, this game sounds great, man.
Yeah,
I
I
know,
think that.
Are you thinking of spending my money? Am I spending my money incorrectly getting Astrobot here? I mean,
I think you
Jeez.
absolutely are, because this feels exactly like a space western, Zach.
yeah.
Oh, can I tell you why this game feels like a space western?
Okay.
They do the thing from Red Dead Revolver. Was it Red Dead Revolver?
Come on,
where
you can't spoil everything for him.
Oh, I didn't know if that was.
Was it like
I
a
mean,
Deadeye
you
kind of
might-
thing, or
Yeah,
there's
the Deadeye
Deadeye.
thing, like from Gun even has it, like where like it's slow motions and then you can highlight all the characters and then you press it and then she shoots all 3 or 4 of them at once.
oh, okay.
Oh, that just feels straight up Western.
Mm.
So
Dude, like this game screams. I was made for Zack.
yeah, Star Wars Western, no skill trees,
Yeah.
like no skill
Stealth
trees,
missions.
stealth missions,
Stealth focus. It sounds like.
Well,
Prince
there
of
are stealth
Persia
missions and then there.
/ like Uncharted, like climbing around and exploration.
And the story is pretty good. I like the villain. I like the opening scene with the villain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's
Okay.
Yeah,
so
better
good.
better villain than Jedi Survivor, I assume.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But like
It was,
again,
it
the
was really
villain
good.
feels domineering. Like you're actually
Yeah.
like, God, like I'm almost afraid of the man.
Well, and I also like that there's a scene where you run into this character for story reasons that I won't spoil here, but K is genuinely terrifying.
Oh.
You know the scene I'm talking about?
I know
CB?
exactly the scene you're talking about.
Like I was like, this is cool because you expect K to just be like, I'm badass.
Right,
I'm just
right,
gonna.
going
No,
out
she is
For revenge.
genuinely
yeah.
freaked out.
Well, I mean, she's new to the business, and she's definitely I'm gonna fake it till I make it.
Yep,
Which
Respect.
I love the way her character plays.
yep, I do as well. And then she just talks to Nyx all the time, even though Nyx can't talk to her.
She
um,
needs an outlet.
Yeah, and Nyx is pretty adorable too. So
Yeah.
So Star Wars Outlaws, I'm liking it. I just wish I hope there's not as many of those insta fail things in the future.
Your only 2 complaints is the instant fail for the stealth missions, which it should be, and the fact that
Mhm.
they aren't hand holding you for side missions.
Right. Like I said, like it's all Scott personal complaints, not necessarily quality of game. And like I said, some of the character models are a little wonky.
They're
Some of the AI
aliens.
is a little wonky, but it's in a way that makes me feel nostalgic instead of looking down on it in a negative light. If that makes sense. So, Star Wars Outlaws,
Play it.
I'm digging it.
All right. Well, now that we've talked about Star Wars Outlaws, let's talk about pinball.
Yes.
You've been playing the Princess Bride table and the Goat Simulator table on Pinball FX.
Yes. I'm
One
gonna
sounds
start
better
with
than the other, clearly.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I haven't
To
played
be fair.
Goat Simulator ever, so I don't have any ties to that. It's crazy to me how much, if you like the property that these tables are based on, you just automatically like it more. I don't think the Goat Simulator table is bad. It's just so wacky and weird, and I have no idea the structure of that table. I have a theory when it comes to pinball tables that your first time playing it is usually your best run, because you don't know what's going on, and instead of focusing on trying to get this thing, you're just hitting it bright, shiny, flashing lights and hoping for the best. And I did that on my first run, and my first score put me in the top 50 on the leaderboard.
Well, you must have been thrilled about that.
I was really stoked. Now, granted, it's down up to like 175, so I've been surpassed by quite a few. But that table is just, I mean, each ball, the pinball is a different sports ball. So it might be a basketball or a baseball or a soccer ball. Why? I have no idea. It just feels like ADD, the pinball table. because there's stuff happening that doesn't make any sense, at least on the first playthrough. Now, if I sit and focus on it and try to learn the table like I do others, it'll probably come to me. But all I really wanted to do was play the Princess Bride table. And man, I love this one so much. You know how a lot of these tables, they don't use the actual voices. They get actors that try to make them sound like that. If you play the Star Wars ones, Darth Vader, it sounds close, but it's definitely not James Earl Jones. It sounds kind of like Han Solo, but I can definitely tell it's not him. Princess Bride uses the actual dialogue from the movie. They use the actual scenes from the movie on the LCD screen up at the top. And they use it in clever ways. I assume you both have seen Princess Bride?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Many
so
times.
if you miss
would be inconceivable if you hadn't.
It's funny. Inconceivable is one that's used quite a bit, especially when you get like a multiplier. He'll just go inconceivable. And but my favorite is like you get a skill shot at the beginning. If you know anything about pinball, there's always some goofy thing you try to do in the opening shot, and if you get it, you get a bonus points. If you miss it, Fezzik goes, "I did that on purpose. I didn't have to miss." Like it's just clever stuff like that. Or if you get a kickback, you know how like if the ball drains too early and the flashing light gives you an extra ball, basically. Humperdinck goes, "See, I knew he was bluffing. Like it's just clever use of the IP.
I feel like every
really
time
great.
you hit the left or right bumper, it should randomly be like, "But I'm not left-handed."
Yeah, that'd be good. There is one. I did get to a sword fight where Wesley and Indigo are doing their sword fight, and he starts off by, "I am not left-handed," and then you have to. It's almost like a Street Fighter like thing that like he'll make a move, and you have to do the right QTE to block it or parry and get back at him, and you get bonus points.
I have to ask, did you just say Indigo?
Inigo.
Okay.
Did I say Indigo?
It sounded like you said Indigo, and I'm like,
Inigo Montoya. But Fred Savage does call him Indigo.
I know.
In the movie one time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did know it's Inigo Montoya. Anyway, one of my favorite things that they do that I don't feel like I've ever seen done in a pinball table. If it has, correct me if I'm wrong. One of the missions is the Battle of Wits. You know, the Battle of Wits has begun,
Yes.
and some of those lines are said there. But the Battle of Wits in here starts off as a trivia game. It gives you a true or false question, and false if it left bumper if it's false, right bumper if it's true, and it's trivia questions about the movie. Like the movie was released on this date, true or false. Inconceivable is said this many times in the movie, true or false. Like just stuff that and some of it's more obvious, but I just thought that was a really fun mechanic, and I love it. So.
I actually think that would be really fun if while you're doing that, there was like a little rotator plate that like held the ball. So every time you get it right or wrong, it moves it back or left or right. Like the cup's spinning. That would have been a really cool little addition. Yeah.
It's genuinely fun to play, and I haven't seen the movie in years. It really makes me want to go back and
it holds up.
Memorized at this point, but yeah, Pinball FX, they make solid tables. The Princess Bride one, obviously, I'm liking better, but I love that movie so much. But the Goat Simulator table is still pretty fun as well. So there you have it. That was obviously developed and published by Zen Studios, and I was actually provided a code by Uber Strategist. So thank you guys. I love these tables so much, and I was reminded when I went back into Pinball FX that my subscription to Pinball FX has lapsed, so I have access to like next to no tables on that platform anymore, and it's really tempting to go back and buy tables again or subscribe, but
they've got
expensive subscription. I know. All right, got a couple other games to talk about very quickly. Mark stopped by to talk about a couple games he really enjoyed quite a bit. I'm going to talk to him right now. Mark Szymanski, how are you doing, sir?
Doing great. It's been a long weekend, and I've loved every minute of it. How about you?
Yes, it's been a long weekend, but not long enough. This is my first day off of, like my first holiday as a middle school teacher. Trying to soak it up, but it's turned out to be a chores day. So I've been trying to get a lot done. But But you're not here to hear me whine about about all the stuff I have to do outside of the Gaming Outsider. You're here to talk to us about a couple games that you've been reviewing for us, and both look pretty interesting. The first is Riddle Tower, which comes from a solo developer by the name of George Tavolaris. I'm assuming that's how I'm going to pronounce it. I apologize, George, if I'm mispronouncing your name. But the code was provided to us by Game.Press. So tell me about Riddle Tower. It looks like it looks like puzzles you would see like in a magazine.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like like word puzzles or logic puzzles. Is there anything more to it than that, or is that pretty much sum up the game?
That sums up the game. It gives you a little story about a Monkey King who is been captured by a witch and taken all of its powers away, but his son, the Mon Kid, let's get it instead of monkey, Mon Kid. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So he is able to restore power, but he has to solve all these riddles first.
Okay.
And those riddles can be text-based, mathematical-based, or my personal favorite, the rebus-based ones, which is
rebus-based.
Yeah, where they put like words in a certain order and like one word on top of the other, or they put an image in between them.
Oh, like like Classic Concentration.
Yeah,
that TV show from back in the
That's
80s or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. So how many puzzles are there?
Hundreds. So in the main story, to restore the power to the Mon King, you have to solve 50 riddles. They're not easy. I say 50 riddles and you're thinking, oh, that's nothing at all. I could probably wrap that up in 15 minutes. Nope. Not going to happen, man. They are some tough ones. And some of them, especially the mathematical based ones, didn't make any sense at all to me.
Like you got to pull out a paper and pencil type of math, or?
No, like you have to guess that, they meant it to be a subtraction problem type of math.
Gotcha.
They give you the image, and once you realize that it's subtraction or multiplication or some other logic-based mathematical problem, once you figure that out, it's easy math. But it's understanding or guessing it right that you have to work around. So the one in particular that I'm thinking of is they gave you 7 images of different power strips, and each power strip has a different number of plugs on it. But one of the pictures of the power strip has a broken link in it. So I wasn't sure, am I supposed to just add up all of them? Am I supposed to say how many of them should work? Nope, you actually take the number that work and subtract the number that doesn't work, and then there was your answer. That didn't make any sense to me, because overall there was, let's say there was 23 of them on the board, 23 plugs, and 5 of them were on the broken one. That tells me that 18 of them should have worked, and that was not how the subtraction problem worked out. It was actually the 18 working ones minus the 5 broken ones, and then the answer was 13. Didn't make any sense to me figuring it out, but that's how easy the math is. It's pretty simple math. It's just understanding how they want to solve it.
So it sounds very Myst-like in terms of, and what I mean by that is not like you're physically cranking, gears or anything in the background image, but Myst was a thing, in the 90s where they didn't explain to you what they wanted you to solve. Part of the riddle was figuring out what the riddle wanted you to do. Is that what's going on here?
For those ones, yes. But otherwise, they are text-based riddles, or the rebus ones, the classic concentration ones that you mentioned earlier. Those are a lot more cut and dry. So you can figure those out. It takes a little time to think about them, and then you get it right, and then you move on to the next riddle.
I watched the trailer, and it's going to sound like I'm knocking the game, and I'm not when I say this. It was frustrating for me as a viewer of the trailer seeing these puzzles because I wanted to solve it. You know what I mean? I was like, this trailer is going too quick, and so it made me want to play it.
Yes.
Because these puzzles seem very interesting and very well thought out. Reminded me of like escape room puzzles. Like if you've ever done an escape room, where you're trying to figure out what they want you to solve and then actually solving it. So it seems like it could be like a good, team-based.
Absolutely. And that's where it shined for me. So it resembled more of a Jackbox game.
Ah, okay.
So
even though it's not designed for multiplayer, right?
It's not, but you can have 5 people sitting around and just connect your laptop to your television set or something like that.
Gotcha.
And then everybody can join in on the fun. Now, there's only one turn, like one player, but you'd all work together, or you'd shout out what you think the answer is, or you can argue about what you think the answer is. And that's how
Yeah.
that's how we enjoyed it. I had my wife sit next to me, and she was looking over my shoulder, and I was showing her the riddles. What do you think the answer is? I'd enter in, because it's all text based. So they have the text box, and that's where you type in your answer, whether it's a number 13
Gotcha.
or a word or whatever you think.
Is there a timer?
Nope.
Like, you have a limited amount of time? You have as much time as you want? Is there
Much
any
time
kind
as
of
you-
penalty for putting in a wrong answer?
Nope. Just guess
Okay.
until you get it right.
So you could just enter in whatever numbers you wanted until.
Sure could.
I mean, it would take you forever, but
It would.
so you're recommending Riddle Tower?
I am, because it's super simple. It is a static backdrop, and then the riddle area on the screen, and then of course the text box where you enter in your answer, and that's it. You answer it correctly, it moves on to the next one. The backdrop doesn't change. So you had mentioned it was a solo developer. I think he did a fantastic job, but it shows that he was working by himself, because
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot of depth, but the game that's there is great, and it's a lot of fun. We're solving those riddles, giving your brain a little exercise, or hanging out with friends and seeing who's the smartest.
Sounds like a game I would want on my phone. You know what I
That
mean?
would be
Like,
a good place for it.
just do a couple puzzles here and there, like while I'm standing in line or something like that. So,
Yep.
Again, the game is called Riddle Tower. It's available on PC. You can check that one out. Also provided to us by Game.Press is a game called Planes Control. We don't do a whole lot of cell phone games, but you're playing this on an Android. It's also available on iOS and comes from developer-publisher Rare Pixels. And from first glance, this is one of those airport, management type games, which I'm going to be honest with you, man. These games stress me the hell out normally, because it just seems like so chaotic. Wasn't there like a stat that said that people that were air traffic controllers had like the highest rate of suicide or something at one point? And
Definitely stressful. Oh yeah.
right. But this one does something that I feel like I've not seen before. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But I personally have not seen this, where since it's on the phone, you have a touchscreen, and you're actually kind of making flight paths by drawing your finger from the plane to where it's landing, and you're trying to keep these planes from running into each other. Is that the gist of it, or is there a little bit more?
That's the gist of it. There's more difficult levels. The one that you probably saw in the preview would have been something that was just simple. You are using the touchpad, like you said, drawing the path to the runway and helping the plane land without colliding with other planes. That is the base of the game. Where this one shines is the level selection.
Okay.
And I wrote it in the review. I think the total amount that should have been paid. Now, of course, I had a free copy. The amount that I would have paid for the content that's on my phone is less than $10. And I tell you, I could probably spend hundreds, and I literally mean hundreds of hours playing this game, because there are so many different levels, so many options.
Awesome.
And the challenge to go back and try to do better the second time.
So what makes it what's better? Like, how do you do a level better?
Just by landing more planes before you have them wreck.
Oh, okay.
So,
so it's kind of like a Tetris kind of thing where you just go until you die?
Yeah. Yep.
There's no like completing a level. It's just you
go
keep going until the chaos overwhelms you.
Yep.
That's interesting. I did have a question, because one of the things in the game that I was unclear of is, you land a plane, and clearly a plane has to land on a runway.
Mm-hmm.
Does it eventually just blink out of existence?
Yes.
Like, because, some of the runways you could land on either side of it. You don't want those planes to collide with each other. And how long do they stay on the runway once they've landed?
That's a good point. I've never tried to land them on opposite sides, because there's a little shade on one side of the runway that I took to mean you must land on this area.
Oh, okay.
I've never tried to land them going in opposite directions.
Okay.
I should try that.
Well, I think I saw, maybe it wasn't the same runway, but there was one where the two runways cross over each other.
Yes, that does happen.
You know what I mean? So you could possibly have two landing at the same time and run into each other once they're on the ground. Is it like they're safe once they're on the ground? Or?
They are safe once they're on the ground. Yep.
Okay. That would make me feel a little bit better, I think. But
and you can also have the flight path go over the runways, because once they've landed, you can tell that they're on the ground. So you can go over the runways as well.
They get a little smaller or something like that, or and it's kind of cool because each of them turns red when they're in close proximity to each other or whatever. That's kind of interesting. Is it like one crash and you're done? Like if they collided, the level's over?
You can pay for free guys. That is a a buy-in. You can also, on some of the levels, I was able to earn a free crash.
Mm-hmm.
Those are on the more difficult levels.
Mm.
But overall, it is one crash and you're done. I am not the type of person who would buy into a free guy like that, because I think they were like 99 cents for 4.
Do they like replenish though, like like hearts do in Candy Crush and things like that, or is that the only way to get them?
Oh no, you can play the game till your heart's content and
Oh,
crash
okay.
50 times an hour if you wanted. They
Oh, okay.
they don't stop you from playing just because you crashed. You just have to start over.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, I'd be okay with that. Like that's the fun of it, is seeing what I can do on this certain rule set. So,
Yep.
The other question I had was, some of the later levels in the trailer looked really interesting, where they had what I can only describe as Independence Day style aliens,
Yep, that was
like
one of them.
like the big mile wide spaceships, and then they seriously look like Independence Day fighters
Yep.
that come out of it. And one of the planes that you're controlling is a fighter jet that can shoot these things down at the same time.
Yep.
How does that work? Are you doing like missile command defending your base, or is it just extra points?
It is extra points. It is that those are the hardest of the levels, because you have to coordinate attacking the mothership in this case. There's other ones where there's other objectives, but this one in particular that you mentioned, you have to coordinate attacking the ship, landing, and not crashing. And there are so many planes that you are trying to do all that with. The best I could do was about 4 landed planes before.
Oh wow.
Those are the hardest ones. It's a little bit easier. There's a couple other ones where you are attacking just a normal plane, like an enemy plane. And then so you shoot at it and then you can land. That one I did a little better at. I think I brought down 3 or 4 planes and landed 12.
Uh-huh.
Then I tried it again. I'm like, do I even have to attack them? Can I just land the planes and see how long I last there? And that didn't even matter, because what would ultimately happen was the enemy jets would run into my jets along their flight path. So it's so hard when you do those levels, but it's so much fun. I loved every single minute.
Very cool. Last question I've got for you. I know that the code that Game.Press provided for you, because if I'm understanding correctly, you don't have to buy this game. This is like a free download. Is that correct?
It's a free download, and a couple of the world's levels, whatever you want to call them, are readily available. The code that they provided to us opened up all of the regular levels, which there was about 12 of them, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 15. And then they did one called the Time Machine. And those you can go back to World War I in France, and you're flying around the biplanes. Or Tokyo in the year 2000, and it's a super busy airport in Tokyo. And then that's where the spaceship one that you mentioned comes into play. That one's on the Time Machine.
Very cool. So you can get a pretty decent amount of gameplay from the free download, but then if you want to play more, there's purchases available. However, the the PR company, Game.Press, did provide us with some codes for listeners. So if you're hearing this and would like to check that out and check out some of the extra levels, hit me up either on Facebook, Discord, wherever, or email me. I've got a handful of them to pass out that will get you that extra access. Because this sounds really cool. Like I said, these games normally stress me out, but this one, having the direct control with drawing your finger, seems really fun. I just really like this idea. Do you recommend it?
Highly recommended. When the written review comes out, I am hoping that it gets somewhere between a 9 and a 10. It is
very cool, man.
For what you get for the money that would be spent on it from a regular customer, but for free, oh my gosh, it is totally worth it. Reach out to Scott, get that code. It is so much fun. I cannot recommend it enough for a phone game. Awesome.
Very cool. Again, it is called Planes Control. That's available on Android and iOS. And like Mark said, hit me up. I'll be happy to hook you up with those until they are gone. Maybe I'll snag one myself. Who knows? All right, Mark. I'm going to let you go. Thanks so much for stopping by. It's always a pleasure to chat with you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend.
I will. I got to go mow now.
I hear you, man. Try to enjoy that. I know a good podcast you could listen to while you're mowing.
I already listened to it. Got to wait until the next one.
I know some good Patreon content you could listen to.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Mowing. That's right. Going to load up those Scott reading the AI book. That should be a lot of fun. I'll do that one up.
I'll be really curious to hear what you think about that one. All right, man. You have a good one. We'll catch you next time.
Sure will. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, Mark. As always, he does great work for us. He finishes a review and then he goes right on Discord in our little channel and like requests another game to review. He's like getting close to surpassing both Alyssa and myself on number of reviews. So that dude is a heck of a worker in terms of writing reviews. I mentioned Facebook. We do have a new member over there. Goes by the name of Eigo Manga, EIGO Manga. So welcome to the community, man. If you guys get a chance, drop us a review on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. We haven't got one in a long time, and I would love to read one on the show. Lastly, our website, thegamingoutsider.com. We got all of our written content, all of our episodes. Mark's review of Nocturne is up on the site. I actually got an email from the developer today, not the PR rep. The developer emailed me because they'd listened to and read his review, and he had mentioned a bug. And they actually asked me for a whole bunch of questions to ask Mark about it. Got those questions to Mark. He answered them. And I sent them to the developer. The developer emailed me back today saying, hey, we released a patch today to fix that bug. I just thought that was really cool. So shout out to Mark for doing the Lord's work out there.
That's great.
His review of Thalassa Edge of Abyss is also up. I feel like I read these already. Did I?
I don't know.
Maybe I skipped these. Jacob's review of Soul Mask, my review of Galactic Glitch, Volgar the Viking 2, and Retro Avengers, and David's review of Dros is now available on the website. Again, thegamingoutsider.com. Let's go ahead now and jump into our From the Outside In topic. Can you believe it's September already? It's the first episode of the new month, which means it's time to go back to community questions. If this is your first time here, once a month we ask our community for conversation-starting questions related to video games. Most of the time, people stick to gaming, but we often get random questions as well. Those are usually our favorites, to be honest. But here's what you all asked us on Facebook, Discord, and Twitter. Let's start over on Facebook. CB, you want to kick things off?
Well, sure. Mark Szymanski wants to know, if you had $10 million, what would be your first purchase? Actually not a game.
Yeah?
I've always wanted about a 65-foot sailboat.
Really? Okay.
I love sailing. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I actually do have a sailboat.
Of course you do.
So, it's in my mom's garage.
Does it fit in your bathtub?
No. It's an 18-foot Hobie.
Ah,
I haven't
all right.
taken it out in a few years because I just haven't had the time.
Well,
And
65 feet is pretty tall, right? Are you going to get under bridges or?
Most I would actually permanently dock it somewhere. Zack. But no, that's just something I'd miss. I want something like big enough that if I really wanted to, I could actually go across the ocean with it.
Ah, okay.
So
You could do that with a 65-foot boat?
if it has a semi-decent outboard but 65 foot is actually fairly large boat.
No, I know. The ocean is much larger.
Yeah. But I mean, you could stock it. I mean, that's not like a little day sailor.
Right. Yeah. Zach, what about you?
I would buy land in rural Oregon. Just
Really?
bunch of acreage, and that would be, it'd be. I would have like some cabins dotting the land. Maybe invite people to live out there. Sky, come out
And
here.
a corral.
Sure, there would
Horse.
absolutely be horses, of course.
Create a commune.
Some goat, a little commune action, little gamer commune, hippie commune. Yeah.
So off the grid, but with internet.
Yeah, dude, it sounds perfect. Yes, just get some solar panels so you can just kind of live off of those and be pretty sweet. Yeah, get the best internet possible. So of course the Gaming Outsider could continue.
Right.
But yeah, get some different animals and stuff like that. It'd be a good time. That's the dream.
You have a
man.
small little cabin for me.
Of course. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
You guys have like these like thoughtful, adventurous answers. Mine is such a boring 40-year-old man.
It's a new TV.
No, I'd buy an annuity.
I don't even know what the hell's an annuity.
That's an investment vehicle where
Oh,
you dump a bunch of money into
oh,
it.
Pays you
yeah,
out over
okay.
time with
Got
a
it.
good return.
Pays you out
Yeah.
over time for life. It's like reverse life insurance.
I was so far off the mark of thinking about responsibility that I was like, is this like a kind of car or what is?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, I'm so boring. My first purchase with $10 million would be some kind of investment that I could just be set for life.
A $10
But if-
million
I guess-
annuity would be a hell of a vehicle.
Well, not all of it. I'd do the Office Space answer. I would invest half of it.
Yeah.
I would absolutely put 10 million in it.
Well, I would probably put like 5 or 6, and then I need to, maybe 9.
All 10 million. Take 1 year, keep working, and everything. So by the time
Why
you
would
get
I keep working with a $10 million annuity?
Yeah, it would be-
because by the time you get that first payment and everything,
Uh-huh.
so you're like, okay, keep working, first payment, then you quit. Because the return on it's going to be far higher than only like 5 million.
You're not going to get 5 million return on 10 million.
No. The
Oh, I
return
see
on
what
a
you're saying. I
10
would get a
million
more
would be a
return.
lot higher than a 5 million.
Yeah, but
On
a
it-
5 million annuity would return in plenty for me to live off of, and I got some
10
play
million
love.
would be
I'm
even
going
more.
to say
You could-
8. I'm going to
you
say I
could
would
live
invest
even
8
more
million of it,
comfortably.
and then but the first thing I would buy is I would buy myself a new Jeep. I miss
Yeah.
my Jeep.
No, you would
So
buy
much.
you would buy an old Jeep in really good condition.
Yeah, not necessarily. Well, I don't know. That 80-year anniversary one is pretty sweet, man.
Oh, no, man. You got to go for a good old like 1987
CJ7.
CJ7.
Yeah.
You know what? The second thing I'll buy, first class ticket to Rockford so I can eat some beefaroo.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna get.
Notice he didn't say like to say hi to me.
Yeah,
or-
no.
What are you talking about? $10 million? You open your own Beefaroo franchise.
That's true. I could get it local. I could put it in front of my commune.
Exactly.
No, you don't want people up there.
Yeah, that's true.
No,
Well,
only
it's
the
private.
people in the commune can
It-
eat at this Beefaroo.
It's like Richie Rich McDonald's in that movie. He had a McDonald's in his
Oh.
mansion.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, just keep a light staff going for this beefaroo.
That's
And
the
it
commune's
tastes
job
fresh.
is to work at the Beefaroo.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you can stay on my property if you staff my beefaroo.
See,
Hilarious.
I'm helping you out there.
Yeah, dude, man. I like the way you're thinking.
Let's go to the next one, Zach.
Sean Coates writes in, what are some of your go-to fallback games? As in, what games do you find yourself returning to during those rare instances when you are not playing the latest release or not playing games to review? Right now, for me, I went back to No Man's Sky for the first time in 3 years. I feel like
Skyrim,
yeah, it's a fallback game for you.
Pinball. Obviously, I'd love to go back and play the old ones. I mean, Link to the Past. It's just such a safe answer, right? But Burnout 3.
Yeah.
If I could even play
Okay.
that one now. Do you play that on,
Well, yeah, I mean,
on
you
the
could,
current console?
you play
If
it
you
on
have the
original
physical
hardware.
copy,
Yeah.
Is it backwards compatible on Xbox?
I don't
Burnout 3?
remember.
yes.
I guess Burnout Paradise is out there. I haven't played that one enough to remember if it's as good. I remember it not being as good, but I could be just misremembering.
Yeah.
That game was just so easy to get into. Like the ramp up in that game felt really solid. Like when I play a Forza game or something, I feel like you have to already be good at simulation racing games to really enjoy it. Burnout just made you feel like you were awesome,
Yeah.
even when you're just doing pedestrian
Well,
stuff at the beginning.
And the way they, cut the camera to the car you just destroyed and then just
Yeah.
keep racing or whatever, it's pretty slick, man.
Yeah.
Pretty slick.
And I haven't in a while, but I recently uninstalled it, so I guess it doesn't count. But whenever I get the friends together, I still like to go back and do some Borderlands from time to time. So, what about you guys?
I don't know. I feel like
Go
I
ahead.
don't know. I don't know how to answer this question. I guess I'll
You're doing it already.
Prince of Persia: Sands of Time.
say yeah. Prince of Persia would be one. What am I doing right now, Scott? Sorry, what?
I mean, I feel like you're playing older games, like or replaying games that you love, like fallback games.
Oh yeah. Well, it's
In
good
addition
to
to new games.
It's good to revisit. Yeah. I've been prioritizing replaying games more often. But yeah, no, of course, it always feels cozy going to a Prince of Persia or a Nier or a Red Dead every year or whatever. It's nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
I knew Red Dead would get the mention.
well, of
Sure.
course. Well,
The
it's,
stamp of approval.
obviously, I'm making it a point to replay those every year for sure.
It's a beefy game for once a year.
It is, but there's nothing better I'm going to play that year, so might as well play the best.
Fair enough.
CB.
Galaga.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Galaga. Well, I mean, off the top of my head, Galaga, Ikaruga, Dead Cells, Binding of Isaac, and Super Mario Brothers 3.
I think
There you go.
it's adorable. We all mentioned our favorite game of all time. Our answer.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's a reason it's there.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
Brian Lewis says, "Who are you voting for?"
Oh,
Just
brother.
kidding. Just kidding.
Berman
RFK Jr.
Berman Supreme.
If you could pick one open world game to have to play forever, what would it be? Go listen to our Desert Island episode.
That's quite true.
I mean, again, the easy answer is Skyrim, but I feel like I got to have a better answer than that.
Elite Dangerous.
There you go.
Oh, isn't that just like thousands of hours of content?
Yeah, well, the
There
space
is more
game, right?
content than
So
you
see-
can finish in 50 lifetimes.
It's just insane.
And
to me.
again, CB and the space, right? They go together.
Yeah.
Is that? I feel like I ask this every time this game is mentioned, but this is the one where they stealth put aliens in the game but didn't tell anybody, and people were just kind of getting abducted, right?
No.
Like you would travel the hyperspace lanes, and then they would you would get zapped out by an alien who would quickly scan your ship, and then you would go back on your way. Is that Elite Dangerous? Or am I thinking of something else?
I don't
Are you
know.
thinking of the spreadsheet game?
I'm not thinking of Eve. There was some space game where when they introduced aliens, they didn't tell the community.
I mean, it's a very good possibility, but I just look at
and they
this,
do-
there's like 17 septillion planets.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of Elite because they added it and it was like a 1% chance it would happen, so people were not believing people that they were getting stopped by aliens, which is the coolest way to unfold aliens in your sci-fi game.
Yeah.
It didn't happen to me.
Yeah, well, the odds were against you.
You know, I'd probably say Fallout 3, honestly. Even as much as I love Skyrim, I just like Fallout better than Skyrim. I just never finished Skyrim. So,
See,
Yeah.
I can't. I appreciate your answer, but the problem is there's literally only so much you can do in that.
yeah.
If I can only play one game forever, I need something that legitimately can't have an ending.
Well. Okay, I mean, what other games can you say besides Elite Dangerous then? I mean, Witcher 3 comes to mind. That game just felt so insanely massive.
Right.
It's like, I like the question. It's just such a hard question to answer.
Yeah.
Because you're
Well,
like,
Brian,
oh,
Brian, it's the easiest question in the world for me to answer because it's my favorite game of all time, and that's Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
I'll just play that till I die. I'm good. Actually, and you know what? If I had to live this situation right now, I'd be fine. If that was the only game I could play till I die, I'm good.
'cause you just
all
wanna
sweet.
ride
Over and over and over and over again.
What'd you say,
dynamite
CB?
horses.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'll just turn to degeneracy after a while. That's true. So start making ghost towns. But really, I could just simulate being a cowboy until they figure out real time travel. This is the best I got.
You just really want to go back and live in the 1800s, don't you?
Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah. This was answered in one of our very earliest Gaming Outsider episodes.
Was it?
Yeah, because we asked which fiction or what video game setting we would want to live in the most, and I said Wild West. You can go back and listen. I said Wild West even back then,
Oh, I believe you.
and you guys said I was crazy because who the hell would want to live out there with all
No,
the
I didn't
disease
think-
and the death and everything? Oh no,
I
I
didn't
think
think
Scott
you were crazy
was.
Yeah, Scott thought we were both crazy because I said the wasteland.
Yeah, well, that was my backup would be the post-apocalypse for sure. So yeah, so we're both insane. We both want to just fight every
Because
day
we
to
both know
survive.
that we can survive.
Yeah, that's right. Scott over there. You gonna do teach? I don't think so.
She had a tan leather.
There, yeah, you know, hide some leather.
You went to the next one, CB?
Oh yeah. Andrew Jack, do you have any prediction for the SWE 2 or Super SWE? Backwards compatibility, dual screen, or will this be the one Game Pass goes on? I've already made my predictions on this one. Haptic controls,
Have you?
man.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah. I don't know about that.
I know.
Haptic
So I guess
controls.
I mean, it is time, right, for a weird gimmick.
Yeah.
Like I understand the Switch was kind of weird with the
the Switch
detachable
was not
controllers,
weird.
but it's not weird like the Wii U was
Well,
weird.
The Switch was weird when it came out. Give it some credit. It was a hybrid console handheld. That was not a thing then.
It
and the
wasn't
weird
that
I don't know,
but
man.
but the problem is it wasn't weird enough, because it's like, oh look, we eventually got like smaller versions of Wiimotes. It wasn't like, hey, here's your console and this giant tablet of a controller. So
Or
the
I can
Switch
point
seemed,
this at the TV and there's a hand symbol that's like that's moving around. Like
Yeah.
that was just like kind of blew our minds.
Yeah.
the Switch seemed pretty normal and tame. It was the accessories like the Ring Fit or Labo.
Or
Like
Labo.
those,
Yes.
that's where I felt Nintendo got their weirdness this generation. That's why I said like this next one's, it's got to be something bizarre.
You know, you say that's weird, but those things are genuinely cool,
I'm-
man. They're fun to put together.
when they first announced it, we looked at it like, that's weird, because we all were like, it's made of cardboard,
Right. Like
how's it
like
doesn't just fall apart?
an $80 cardboard set.
Yeah. I kind of regret not snagging some of those when they were like heavily discounted.
Yeah, you missed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea what to predict because I feel like of all the companies, Nintendo is the least predictable. The only thing I will predict is that this magnetic thing is accurate and it's going to be called the Nintendo Snap. That is my big prediction.
Yeah, my big prediction is it's just going to be a more powerful Switch. Maybe they do the snap thing you're talking about with the magnetic stuff, but I feel like it's largely going to be this console.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it would be surprising of Nintendo to just do the same thing again, I feel like. But
What's the Snap thing? I missed that somewhere.
So there were some not prototypes, but like apparently people got to touch a prototype for it, but they weren't allowed to look at it. So they literally had to stick their hands inside this thing and feel it. And there was some patent or something that had like the magnetically held Switch remotes or Joy-Cons. So instead of it being like sliding into there and clicking into place, there's some kind of magnet that's supposed to hold it into place.
I don't know how
Again,
well
this
that's
is
gonna work.
all, it's like I said, it's all kind of speculation at this point, and it was based off of like somebody that apparently, you know, broke some kind of NDA by talking about it. Although, why would Nintendo let somebody touch it?
Let me take these powerful magnets and put them next to processors and hope that they.
That's what I
function
said when we first
correctly.
talked about this, but
I thought technology moved past the magnet thing.
I don't know.
It does for certain things, but other things like magnetic fields are still a thing.
Yeah, in Nintendo I trust.
I can just,
although I don't.
like, over time, like the magnets like start to fail. You're sitting there playing it, and it just like falls.
My thing is like, what do you do to iterate? That would be a huge jump. Like I to me, the Switch is perfectly fine outside of, I don't know, it could be more ergonomically sound, you know, if you're playing it in handheld mode. But
So people with pacemakers wouldn't be able to play it. No, like that's legitimately a thing. Like in the ER, like if you have a malfunctioning pacemaker, we actually have a magnet that they place there to shut it off.
Well, I don't think it's
Oh,
going to
really?
be that powerful a magnet.
It doesn't take much. That's why they say, like, near MRI machines, like, if you have a pacemaker, don't come in this room. You'll die.
Well, but as backwards compatibility, I feel like they'll probably have a little slot for your Switch cartridges. I'm less confident that your digital purchases will carry over.
No, absolutely not.
But I hope it is. I hope this is the last Nintendo ID you need. But they haven't operated in a way where I trust them on this.
I think they would be foolish not to.
I mean, I agree, but we said the same thing about the Wii U, right? Or the Wii and then all your 3DS purchases. We have said this before about digital libraries with Nintendo.
A fully functional multiplayer environment.
I will say I don't think dual screen is going to be a thing.
No.
I think that I don't think people want that anymore. Maybe I'm just speaking from my own head, but Game Pass, I think that's still a pipe dream. I know they were talking, Nintendo and Microsoft were talking for a while, but
I think it will happen because I think by then we'll learn more about Xbox's plans to move away from focusing on hardware, I guess.
so you think instead of us being able to play Mario games on an Xbox, you think we'll be able to play Halo on a Switch?
Yes.
Or Halo on a Nintendo product?
Actually, you know what would be really cool? If it
Hmm.
does do dual screen, have a screen that actually like flips up from behind it, but it's like a pass-through AR screen.
Okay. I don't know. The AR was so cool on the 3DS when it first released, and I used those little things that came with it, the little
cards.
question block cards or whatever, and then I never touched it again.
Yeah. Yo, bring back Street Pass though, for real.
I never used that much. Why did people like that so much? Was it just like points for like?
Yeah, well, it's fun if you live somewhere populated because you would just carry your DS with you, right? And then open it up and you're like, oh, 7 new Street Passes.
Okay.
Or Vita had Nier, which is the same thing. Vita, although that
Pokemon
would
the Streetwalker.
Yes, but PlayStation Nier, spelled the correct way, not the cool way, would never. You get like one a year. You're like, oh, somebody with a Vita. Didn't happen a lot.
I mean, it makes sense for Nintendo products now. Like, what kid doesn't own a Switch at this point? I genuinely want to know.
And who's not going to want to Switch to?
Actually, I'm more surprised at the amount of homes that don't have more than one Switch with a family. Like
with family. Yeah.
So yeah,
and they're beat up, that's for sure. But those things are pretty durable. I've always kind of thought that the tracks would snap off. The one that you snap them into.
Yeah. Or the fact that I've seen so many Switches with one corner chewed. Because for some reason, every child chews on a corner of a handheld.
Wasn't that why they made the cartridges taste gross, right?
Yeah, but like every 3DS and DS that I remember seeing, it was always like one corner was chewed. Like they just carried it with their teeth.
It's very strange.
Dude, my brother used to chew in the corner of the NES controller when I was a kid. To this day, I remember there being bite marks. Like, why? What? Why?
Yeah, okay. All right. I guess it's more common than I would have thought.
Yeah. Zach, are you up?
Yeah, we're jumping over to Discord here with TJ Kitsune. What toppings would you put on a video game themed sub sandwich?
I don't even know how to answer that.
So you would take some shaved Otzel meat, right? Kind of put that on there.
What's Otzel meat?
That's what Daxter is in Jak and Daxter.
Oh my god!
Maybe a little bit of hedgehog bacon on there. I bet that fries up real good. Let's see what you get. Oh, you probably get some like Cajun gator off a crock. I'm just trying to.
We're actually like consuming these characters. I was not.
I'm
going
frying
that
up. You get the fried eggs obviously from Kazooie. Crack those. A little bit of fried eggs on there. Make a little breakfast spin on the sandwich. I think there's a lot of potential here in eating these characters. I assume that's what the question was about, right?
I didn't even consider that.
I was just thinking about like all the different foods that I could eat in Final Fantasy.
Oh, dude, think about the mushrooms you get off of a toad. Kidnap one of those guys out of the Mushroom Kingdom and just kind of shave their head off.
Slice their brains open.
Kind of grate their heads.
I was thinking just like, spicy Italian, like go with the Mario sandwich. Like I was not thinking of actually devouring
all the mascots,
video game characters.
You could get some corn from that Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty gross. I don't know if I want that corn. Oh, dude, you know what? I bet a lombac steak would fry up real good. A little ratchet action.
This is disturbing.
And that's an endangered species, so that's it's gonna taste all the sweeter going down. Because you're doing something bad.
You're talking about the recipes in Zelda or Final Fantasy. Man, some of the ones in Final Fantasy look legit good.
Yeah, you're talking about FF15 in particular.
Yeah,
that was great. Those are crazy. But those, I don't know how many of those are sub sandwiches.
I know that's the thing. Is like, I'm trying to think of what you'd put on a sandwich. I mean,
I'm
so simple when it comes to ingredients. I just plain Jane kind of stuff, meat and cheese. I don't know what would make it video game themed. Like I said, my mind just immediately went to Italian.
Just give Link the ingredients, have him throw it in the little bowl.
And you
have it make the noises as it bounces around.
You'll get a little mosaic sub sandwich. It'll record one
hedgehog bacon made me smile a little bit when you said that.
Fry that bad boy up, dude.
It's gonna be
pretty good. He's got that rotund belly. Especially the Genesis model. I bet you get some nice tasty bacon on that bad boy.
Oh my goodness, went a direction. Tim Pollen asks, "What screens are you gaming on?" Due to work, 4 kids, and my son has a really nice LG monitor, LOL, I'm back to using my 2008 Panasonic Plasma. That just won't die. Lots of sales going on, so I'm looking for recommendations. Boy, I'm the last person to ask for recommendations because I spend way too much on my TVs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you do.
I keep them for 12 years, but I feel like they're not crazy expensive anymore. Like,
It depends on what you want to do with it. I mean,
well, that's the thing is like I got it and I watched YouTube videos of nature shows in 4K and I was just like blown away, and then went back to Assassin's Creed or whatever, and like it doesn't look that much
8-bit
Huh?
8-bit Zelda.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I feel like as I get older, I'm not worried about the super impressive screen anymore. I just like the large screen. So I'm on a 65-inch. I
Whoa,
want to say it's a Samsung.
it's pretty big. I feel like his TV is like double mine. I think mine's like a 36 or a 38 inch or something.
I'm currently using a 65-inch 4K to watch Laserdiscs on.
That's so hilarious. Laser discs.
Pre-HD technology on a 4K TV.
Well, I feel like 4K, right? That's just common. You don't even have to say it anymore, right?
I feel like, like, can you even buy a 1080p TV anymore?
Yes, you can, and you can also
1080i?
get 8K TVs.
Well, yeah, that's going the other direction. I'm talking about.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to denote that, like, yes, this is a 4K TV, not an 8K or a standard 1080.
I mean, how much better can it look?
I was gonna say,
genuinely.
I remember what an optometrist told me years ago that the human eye cannot see better than 8K. So if they give you past 8K, they're lying to you.
Well, it's just like you technically can't see faster than, what is it, 180 hertz refresh rate?
Is that right? Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I feel like I did hear that. Yeah.
So when they were like plasma TVs at 600
Right.
hertz refresh rate, I'm like, cool, because you can't see it. Which is why like certain TVs where like movement doesn't seem normal.
Yeah, where it has
Because
kind of
it's
like a soap opera look almost to it, or whatever.
Well, yeah, or it's refreshing so fast, you're like, oh, that just doesn't look right.
The only advice I would give you, Tim, is if you're planning to like use your TV for things outside of gaming, I feel like the price that you pay now is more. I mean, you
You're
get
paying
with
for
the
a
quality,
brand.
whatever. You're paying for a brand, but you're also paying for whatever the in-app stuff is. Because like nowadays, we don't even use a Chromecast, right? It's got all the Netflix apps. You just download the apps for all these different services.
You're talking about on your TV or whatever.
Yeah, your smart TV.
Dude, I
stuff.
hate. I do not like owning a smart TV. I gotta say.
I kind of miss the Chromecast, honestly, where I could pull up on my phone what I wanted and then just boom cast it and it was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the
Most
one in
of
my
them have it
living
built
room,
in now.
right? But I'm saying
Yes.
is if you buy a cheaper TV like we did for our living room, I mean it's a big screen, but it was definitely like a $200 or $300 TV.
You
Those
have
smart-
to go out of your way to find a non-smart TV now.
That's what I mean. And you can still use a Chromecast if you want to, but it's just then it's an input and but it starts to drag. Like the navigating the smart TV stuff is like you press the button and then it takes a while for it to let you even move the icon over to where you want to, and then those apps just feel like they take a long time to load on the older one that I bought. So if you're doing it for gaming, don't worry about that obviously, but I feel like that and the branding is what you're paying more for than the quality of the screen, because I feel like after a couple weeks you're not even going to notice.
The sad thing is the majority of the actual panels are made by two different companies. The majority of the actual internals are made by Sony or one other company.
Uh-huh.
It's just outsourced to like one of their subsidiaries.
Mm-hmm.
So you're basically paying for, do I like this logo or that logo? I have a smart TV. I don't use any of the smart functions on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the Xbox on the upstairs TV, the PlayStation on the downstairs TV, and I use that for the in-home smart stuff. Like if I want to watch Netflix and everything, I watch it through the PlayStation or the
nice.
Xbox.
I don't have a console up on the upstairs TV, so I could probably do that with my Xbox. Let's see. Who's up? CB, you're up.
Bill Gardner. What's your most anticipated game for the rest of the year, and your favorite game this year so far? Oof.
My favorite game of the year is still Lost Crown.
Yep, Prince of Persia Lost Crown as well.
Most anticipated, Lucky Squire. Maybe.
Most anticipated for me is going to be Wild Bastards. I mean, I can't remember, like, unless I'm forgetting something, right? I mean, Indiana Jones looks cool, but I am also like cautious because they refuse to show several minutes of straight gameplay for some reason.
Yeah, it's odd.
Yes, it is odd, but
CB?
I love machine games, so I'm believing it will be great. However, the way they're showing it off is strange.
Mm-hmm. Favorite game so far? Star Wars Outlaws.
Wow.
Okay. High praise.
Dude, I'm telling you, I absolutely love and adore this game. Most anticipated game? Alien Rogue Incursion.
Sure, that makes sense.
There's no way of beating around that bush. I get to play in the Alien universe in VR.
Right. Yeah, that's all coming up CB for sure. Yeah. Anyway, was it Kevin? Is this you,
yep.
Scott, or me? Me? Who?
That's you.
Kevin Honigford writes in, a genie, probably of the game version, grants you the ability to go back in time and be present for one moment in video game history. CB, not 2 or 3 or 4, only one. Kevin knows you well. Which moment are you time traveling to? Why? And what do you do there?
Keanu Reeves, you're beautiful.
You were there.
Or you're breathtaking.
You were there.
I know. I was being funny.
Oh, okay.
It's like my...
I would time travel to watch myself be like, oh, that's crazy.
Look at me writing notes on my notepad.
Look at me.
Me staring at the camera like a creep when I was just trying to read the prompter, remember?
Yes, yeah, I do remember. Good stuff.
Furiously trying to take notes on my phone.
All right, so what are your guys' answers?
Dude, I don't know. I that's so hard. One gaming moment.
Video game history. The first thing that came to mind is kind of a joke answer. Is I want to be, the famous elevator ride where the Japanese Square Enix executive and Disney executive were in the elevator, and they kind of pitched the Kingdom Hearts. They figured out the Kingdom Hearts crossover in the elevator and how fun it would be to collaborate. And I would like to be there so I can stop them, so we can just we could remove Kingdom Hearts before it ever begins. Save us all a lot of headache. Kingdom Hearts fans, I know you love it to death. But do you really want that pain of having to wait for all each entry years and years? I mean, I'm saving you.
Entries that convolute the previous entries.
Yeah, so I'm saving you. I'm saving us. Everybody's safe from Kingdom Hearts. It can't get you anymore.
Kingdom Hearts 253 and a third, Chain of Memories, backwards, whatever.
No, I have no hatred for Kingdom Hearts. I played and loved the first one. In fact, the second one, I played like 3 hours of it, and it was immediately like, this has gone too far. I can't do this. So the first game is fine. I'm sure it's brought a lot of joy to a lot of people. But I'm just saying.
I think I'm a little biased here because I read the book. But after...
Being on the beach?
Huh?
Being on the beach? Console Wars?
I wasn't even thinking of that book. I was thinking of Masters of Doom. I just want to be in like the id office and just like after reading Masters of Doom, I was just like that environment just sounds crazy cool to me.
Yeah,
like a bunch of dudes that are just like working.
That's
100 hours a week,
right?
Coding, playing together, and making something,
just changing the industry.
Seriously, like in such crazy, insane ways. Man, that'd have been cool. Like to be there when that game gets unveiled for the first time, when they get to show that, you know what I mean? But I think being in the offices themselves, just to be in that environment.
The Ion Storm Studios in Dallas, that would be a fun one.
Okay,
but no, clearly I have overthought my answer far too much because I even got clarification from Kevin whether I could bring something or take something.
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy.
Okay.
What was the clarification result?
I was just like, am I able to take something or bring something back?
What did he say?
Yes.
Okay, all right. What are you bringing back?
I would go to the 1985 January CES.
Sure.
And I would sell every possession that I have and bring a suitcase full of money. And I would Biff Tannen the hell out of the world.
There you go. Okay. You know what? I have a better non-joke answer.
Well, no, specifically though, like I'm dead serious.
No, I'm believing you. I'm saying I have a non-Kingdom Hearts answer when you're done.
Do you know why specifically the 1985 CES is important? The January CES.
Is this NES related?
It's pre-NES.
Okay.
It is
Atari related.
It's still Nintendo, but it's the Nintendo AVS.
Okay, so you get the
failed one where like everybody's like, "What is this? This doesn't make sense." But I would find my father, who was actually in New York at the time.
Okay.
Hand him a briefcase full of cash. Tell him with specific instructions inside the next 15 World Series and Super Bowl winners.
So you really are
take this money. But specifically, I would be like, take the money then and buy 5 boxed copies of every single Nintendo game that comes out from here to this date and just put them in a vault. Specifically, like stadium events.
Right. That'd be smart. Of course.
Because I'm still preserving like what I like to do with games, like collecting a game empire. But then I'd be like, oh look, I have like 10 boxed copies, like sealed box copies of stadium events. Or when he goes to the June 1985 CES, the specific Super Mario Brothers that were sealed with the sticker, like those are there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I could literally just leave notes in there and be like, look specifically for these releases, buy them, just seal them, put them away. Because then from a game preservation standpoint, it makes me happy that so many of these things that have been lost to time, like specifically, like I know where the palette of Cheetah Men 2 the Cheetah Men 2 palette was found. I could be like, this is where it is. There's so many of those things that were either lost or then permanently locked behind, like people like what's that one douchey pharma dude who bought the Wu-Tang album and it's like, guess what? I'm never releasing this ever.
Martin
So
Shkreli.
things like that, like legitimately looking at it from a game preservation standpoint.
Don't try to be the hero now, CB. You're obviously just trying to get filthy rich. And you can save along the way, but it sounds like you're
the money's nice, but at the same time, like the fact that I could actually do what my entire end game is, which is create a playable video game museum, but actually legitimately have like, these are all the things that have been lost. Like finding like the Atari consoles that got turned into dental x-ray machines, or like whenever one of the games like got discounted at KB Toys for like $2. But like I could sit there, corner the market on some of this stuff, and then be like, cool, I have my video game museum, but I also want to sell the stuff, but not at like ridiculous, stupid COVID prices. Like prices that like people could actually like buy and enjoy this stuff. Like that's been my end game the entire time. I want people to be able to enjoy the stuff.
And then keep one just sealed that you never opened.
Like just literally I could have a completely sealed library and just be like, it's there. I'm not going to sell it. Like that's the thing is my personal collection, I don't want to sell it. It's just going to sit there and be like, look, it's there. Like enjoy. Like you can see it in person and play it.
Well, make sure to leave instructions for your dad that says get an extra sealed copy of every Zelda game for Scott and every Western game that comes out for me. Okay, so we can just everybody take care of your friends along the way.
And see, like that's the thing is like all those like NIS releases that got lost to time.
Yeah.
Or the
You
fact
have
that he could go through time and legitimately save the source code for Panzer Dragoon.
Oh my god, yeah. Andrew Goose
Like
Saga.
that's the thing, is like all those things that got lost, I could be like, just here's this giant phone book of information. Save the gaming world. This
Here's a
is your
good moment
mission now.
to go back to. Yeah. Real answer, real quick. Minutes before George Lucas goes into that room and sells LucasArts
Oh, slap
to
the
Disney.
shit.
No, I'm just gonna pull him aside real quick. Be like, hey, homie, I know you don't know me, but you need to put a clause in here. Just people are gonna love this, okay? You put a clause in there that says Star Wars 1313 cannot be canceled under any circumstance. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I just let him go in the room. He's gonna believe me, obviously, because I'm so charming and convincing, and he's gonna save Star Wars 1313, and I'm pretty sure America becomes a utopia after that.
Yeah.
So you're welcome, America.
Oh, just all those canceled games that could be saved too.
Well, we can only pick one each, apparently.
We could finally see the Batwoman movie.
Well, Batgirl, but yeah.
Or Batgirl movie.
Zach, you just reminded me of, and I won't spoil it, but there's an achievement that made me chuckle in Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh yeah.
CB probably knows what I'm talking about. It references
1313.
Not 1313, but a pretty infamous meme-worthy line that is used as the title of an achievement. You'll know it when you see it.
By the way, going back to that, doesn't this game feel like it should be called Star Wars Ragtag?
Oh,
well, I haven't. I hear Ragtag. I think a posse, and I only still have one character. So
later on, you'll be like, this game feels like it should be called Star Wars Ragtag.
Okay,
you're not allowed to bring that game up. It hurts too much.
It does. It does. I agree with you, but it feels like there's some spirit there.
Oh, Amy Hennig, you deserve to have a game released again one day.
Who read the Genie one? That was you, right, CB?
That was me.
No, that was Zach.
Okay, so I am up with David Newman, who says, what are 2 games from 2023 and 2024, one from each year, that you haven't played but wish you have? I will start. 2023, I wish I had played Chance of Sonar. I kind of regret not playing that game. I've heard a lot of positive buzz about that game. It's like a language deciphering type game. I think it's on Game Pass, so there's no really reason why I can't. And 2024, Helldivers 2 came out 2024.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I missed the hype on that game, and I'm not usually a multiplayer guy, but that's a team-based one. So I'm more apt to play that instead of playing against people. So yeah, I had a backup in case that didn't count, but I was pretty certain it came out.
Sure did. We could have had so much fun.
Oh,
but it does feel like the excitement has left that game, right?
Well, you still could though.
Yeah,
like
true, of course. Yeah.
And now that our schedules align, we could actually. I bet you that game's cheap now.
I bet it's not. I bet it's still $40.
Oh yeah. That's all right. What about you, man?
Me, 2023, I would say Remnant 2. It's kind of passed me by. I really enjoyed the first one, but the first one had that like, oh, this is good, but I bet the sequel will be great. You know, like a little Assassin's Creed 1 to 2 or Uncharted 1 to 2 thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to play that. Dark Souls with guns seems cool. And then from this year, it sounds like Star Wars Outlaws is the answer.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna play it. I mean, it's just
at some point, yeah. But I guess a lesser known one. I really want to play Kinitsugami. That looks really unique. I'd like to get to that at some point.
Kinitsugami, I don't know what that is.
Oh, that's the Capcom new IP that they put out. It came to Game Pass day one. It was like a tower defense action game hybrid.
Oh, okay.
What about you?
TV?
Oh, me, I'm easy. 2023, Lies of P.
Yeah, great choice. Yeah,
Yep,
looks cool. I gotta play that myself.
And the other one, I'm more kicking myself for because I played it more in 2023 than I did 2024. Skull and Bones.
Oh, really?
Like during the beta or something? You're saying?
I played both betas.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the game release, I'm like, oh, there's too much else going on. I can't play this right now because I love that game,
which is madness, absolute madness to hear. But it's
nice.
Fun.
Nice
someone
likes
it. Yeah, it's always on sale. So
you know what? I'll say Concord.
There you go. R.I.P. already.
We got one more, and I don't think I put this one on here.
No, I caught it on Twitter right before this.
I did not see this one, so thank you for catching this. I don't have an answer prepared. I'm going to have to scramble.
I have one prepared because I actually just watched it today for the first time in 15 years.
Right. So,
All right.
So from
Sidekicks.
So from Twitter, Positivity Counts at Positivity Count 1 asks,
He's pulling Jeopardy. He's giving the answer, and then we're going to do the question.
what is one of your favorite little-known movies? Sorry, CB, you said Sidekicks?
Yep, Sidekicks.
Okay.
Like the Chuck Norris,
It's Chuck Norris and Jonathan Brandis.
that the kid from McGee and Me, right?
I don't know. All I know is he's no longer with us. But
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, he met an unfortunate end. But yeah, the movie like never got released on DVD, Blu-ray. It's actually finally getting a release on 4K through Vinegar Syndrome. But the Laserdisc came in the mail today, and I popped it in the player and watched it immediately. And it's still awesome.
I feel like this question's kind of hard. Because I guess I don't know what counts as little known or lesser known. You know?
It's difficult. I wish I had seen this before I would have prepared, but the one that immediately comes to mind is a movie called Thank You for Smoking.
Oh, yeah,
I love
yeah.
that movie.
Great movie.
Okay. I didn't know if that was
Aaron
little
Eckhart
known.
is amazing in that movie.
He's such a, what do they call him? The Sultan of, what was it? Sultan of something like this. Sultan of Spin, which was just such a great title for what he did. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I guess, well, for me, the first thing that came to mind is Stranger Than Fiction, but I feel like that's not that little known.
That's kind of how I feel about Thank You for Smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are both fairly big.
Right. So yeah, Stranger Than Fiction I love. Also really did like the other Will Ferrell somewhat serious movie, Everything Must Go. That was pretty good. Dude, I mean, a quick favorite that I watched earlier this year, and has quickly become a favorite, is Red Sun, which is a cowboy/samurai movie with Charles Bronson and Takashi Miike. I don't feel like that's super well known, but
I got more excited about the other Red Sun.
Yeah, well, I feel like this should be better known. There's not enough cowboy samurai team up movies out there. So that was a lot of fun. It was also a lot funnier than you would ever expect.
Charles Bronson.
I got one that I feel like I know that you guys won't have heard of. It's a Steven Dorff movie called Entropy. Have either of you seen it?
No. You got me.
It's I don't know if you would consider it a good movie, but it's a movie that hit me in the right time of space in my life. Like, it was a kind of a love story, but it didn't end well. Like, it actually had a bad ending, and it was like right when this girl broke up with me at that time, so I kind of had I gravitated towards it. It's a weird movie.
The right movie at the right
U2
time
is in it.
kind of deal.
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, U2 and Bono is in the movie for some strange reason. There's a bizarre scene with
immediately out.
talking. There's a
U2
bizarre
safety.
scene at the very end with a talking cat.
Before we move on, I have one other one too that
Okay.
I can almost guarantee neither one of you ever seen. Have you seen the movie Solo with Mario Van Peebles?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That was a great trailer.
I feel that like so few people, like I brought that up to somebody, they're like, "What?"
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a Terminator knockoff. It's great.
Oh, do you know a movie I love? I'm sure you guys have heard of it. Unleashed with Jet Li.
Yes,
That
that is a phenomenal movie.
That movie's incredible. I love that movie. So if maybe that counts. I don't know. I just saw Once Upon a Time in China the other day. That was pretty awesome. Jet Li movie. So that was foreign. Probably lesser known.
Those all like, what was it? Unleashed, Black Mask, and Romeo Must Die.
Yeah, dude,
and
Romeo Must Die is good too.
That like all those like random Jet Li movies that came out around that same time.
Dude, they were awesome. A lot of fun. The one's probably my least favorite of the batch, but
yeah,
dude, like Romeo Must Die is great. Unleashed, phenomenal. There was that really bad movie with him and Jason Statham called War.
Yep.
Where like it was just a terrible plot where they were just wasting time to get to the next time Jason Statham and Jet Li fought. Yeah, that was a fun time. Anyway, I tried. Little known, so hard.
I know. Well, I mean, if I had time to think about it and like go back and look at some lists and stuff, I could probably come up with some gems. But Meet Bill came to mind as well as another Aaron Eckhart movie.
Okay,
I don't know why.
You're an Aaron Eckhart.
You really like
fan.
Aaron Eckhart.
I love Aaron Eckhart, man.
Yeah.
I was a fan of his
Payback.
before Dark Knight. I just really like him. So, well, thanks everybody for all the questions as usual. That's always a fun. Next week's topic, we're going to talk about overrated games.
Oh, brother.
What games do you think that get all this praise and love and they just don't deserve it? So stay tuned.
But I thought well, I guess we're not saying they're bad games, right? We're just saying they're overrated.
Just overrated.
Games. Yeah.
Overrated.
Right.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Thank you so much for listening. This one is produced by Kevin Honigford, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemmage and Metroid Metal. You can find his website at stemmagemusic.com. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Zach, any parting words or recommendations for our listeners before my internet gives out?
Did I talk about seeing Back to the Future 2 for the first time?
For the first time?
Yes, for the first time. I haven't seen two,
Wow.
I've never seen 2 or 3, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
So
dude,
the whole
3 is
Biff Tannen
right up your
reference-
I
alley.
know. I can't wait to get to it. But I rewatched Back to the Future, a month or two ago. Phenomenal. I mean, just what an incredible movie, right?
So good.
It's fresh to me. Yeah. So Biff and I were recently reacquainted. But dude, the first movie, impeccable. Second one, it's okay. It's I'm sure it was different, like as you had to wait for it to come out. But when you watch them like relatively close together, and again, this is like the first time I'm seeing it, right? So there's no rose-tinted glasses, I guess that probably helps. But like, it really is like half of that movie is just the first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not very exciting to watch.
It's such a weird production too, because 1 was made and then 2 and 3 were shot like back to back.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like I had heard that, but like it came back to the surface because when you watch 2, there's so many there's references to the West or whatever, that are you're like.
Well, plus they have the next time on Back to the Future, or it says to be concluded, and they actually show clips from the movie.
So that was actually in an interview that I saw earlier today where Michael J. Fox didn't know about Back to the Future 2 being made until he watched the at-home VHS release, and it said to be continued.
Oh, yeah.
Because in the theaters, it didn't say that. It was
Really? I didn't
Nope.
know that.
It was only on the VHS home release that was added in. And so he called his agent. He's like, "Am I in this?" And like, "Oh yeah, I haven't called you yet, but we're doing a second and a third."
Oh yeah. They
That's hilarious.
recast the girlfriend, right? The second one.
Yep.
Yeah, but the parts that are like the future and new are all pretty good. It's just like when they go back to the 50s again or whatever, I'm like, this movie is kind of feels like a modern movie problem where they're like, hey, remember all that stuff you love?
Yeah.
But it would be different in the 80s, right? Because their home video wasn't as reliable and all of those things.
Yeah.
I understand.
I actually have the book Back to the Future 2. It was one that I got it's an adaptation from the film. It's not like the book that the movie was based on. I got it at like one of those Scholastic book fairs when I was in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I read that book so many times before I saw the movie.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
was it accurate to the movie?
Very accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Down the line. CB, what about you?
So I've been on an anime kick lately.
Oh.
I just finished rewatching Darker Than Black seasons 1, and thanks to a friend of mine, I got my hands on season 2.
Nice.
So those are great. But also in the mail today, I got another Laserdisc anime that I'm excited to watch. It's the entire run of the original Gundam Wing, which I've never watched the original Gundam Wing. So it's the entire run. So I'm like, that'll be kind of fun to watch.
There you go, man. See some horrifying space war. Be awesome.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that one. And then I also got Princess Mononoke, but on Laserdisc it was only ever released in Japan. so it's in Japanese with Japanese subtitles. But
Shit.
luckily, I've seen that movie enough that I like know the movie.
Oh, yeah,
So-
I would say you better learn fast.
Yeah, Google Translate, just hold it up as
Yeah.
for the subtitles.
There you go.
You're like looking from the screen to your phone, screen to
Right,
your
you'd
phone.
be like those people at the
Yeah.
concerts that just film the whole time. You're like, you're not even watching the concert.
No, you do like they do for deaf people in the movie theater. You get like a little stand and you put it just at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
okay. You got it all worked out, I see.
I have a deaf wife. I learned these things.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, touche.
I finished an audiobook this week. Actually, I finished 2 audiobooks, but the one that the more recent one I finished, I love listening to audiobooks that have a movie based on them. And my favorite movie of all time is Fight Club.
Mm.
To this day, I love Fight Club, and I went back and listened to the audiobook. I've actually read the book before, but it's been so long and I wanted to revisit it, so I listened to it. It sounds like, this is supposed to be a recommendation. This is one of those rare instances where I think the movie did a better job than the book did. I feel like the changes and tweaks that they made from the formula from the book and translated to film and adapted it to film are smarter, better. But with that said, there are so many lines from the book that are from the movie that are pulled directly from the book. I mean, just like straight up, like, wow, they just copied word for word. And I mean that in a good way. Like his writing and the way that, his lines are so good that they didn't change any of it. They just changed some story beats here and there. So
His name was Robert Paulson.
that's in there.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, you've read it too?
It's been a while, but yes, I do own a copy and I've read it once.
And you're right. The line in the book, Zach, is I want to have your abortion.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty messed up line, but I think Helena Bonham Carter's line in the movie was
The movie line is superior for sure. They're
Oh,
both
man.
great, but the movie line is better.
But what a twisted story. Just the whole idea of somebody having insomnia and trying to cure that insomnia by going to support groups and faking like they have, these ailments
Yeah.
is such a, oh man, I just love that whole concept to begin with. And where that story goes, I love Fight Club so much. I know it's been kind of a memed to death movie at this point, but I seriously think that whole concept is just brilliant on so many levels. And
You say that, but dude, that movie still stands easily.
I know. It's just so dark and twisted, and watching it with 44-year-old eyes now as opposed to when it came out in 97, I think that came out, or 98?
99.
99. It just makes you think. Like the whole concept of having I don't want to ruin the movie, but of living a life the way that you always secretly want to.
Right.
You know what I mean? And is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? It's like more philosophy in that movie, especially after reading the book. So I guess my recommendation is if you like a movie a lot, go read the book. It's another way to experience the story that you're familiar with. So it's already going to feel comfortable. But playing that compare and contrast game is just always a fascinating experience for me.
You want a fun one? Read Hadley's Hope.
Hadley's Hope? I don't know.
It's the viewpoint of Newt from Aliens,
Oh, yeah.
But
I remember you telling me that.
but like it goes farther into depth of like what she had to do to survive
Oh, nice.
before the Marines got there.
That was I think I recommended to Zach in the past, but Rapture,
Yeah, great book.
the book based on Bioshock, it's like the fall of Rapture.
Mhm.
And going, especially if you know what you know about Bioshock, you kind of feel like you're in the know listening to the audiobook. That's a really great book. So, all right. Well, that's enough for this episode. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, CB, for being here. And thank you, dear listeners, for checking this out. We do appreciate it, as always. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark. I am Scott Clark
It's true.
with Zach Parkerson and Chris Behrensmeyer, and we are the Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.